Get ready for 2 hours of hard-hitting football talk, straight from their jocks about the jocks. It's Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Football on the Know. I'm Jim McPhee, alongside of me is Mr. Joe DeCapita.
What's going on, Nodos? Welcome back for another edition of Football on the Know show, ready to go. Hey, listen, what we do know about this past week is that it is very unpredictable, and going forward, it's going to stay unpredictable because what just happened? The Detroit Lions get their first win. Congratulations, Detroit. And they overcome the Minnesota Vikings. That is insane.
What?
Yeah. I know, right, Little?
After all the times that they had so many close ones, you know, and this was the week they ended up pulling it out and getting the win, you know.
Exactly.
And it was right into the last play, basically, of the game here, too. Did get it right there. Boom.
Yep,
right at the end. Energizing for everybody else. Oh, my goodness.
Listen,
it's harder and harder these weeks to pick these, man.
Absolutely.
It's tough.
Listen, if you're new to the show and you like football and you're down with it, listen, we're like your therapists for you, for all the hurt that you may be going through, or maybe you're on top of the mountain right now and you're like, we're making the playoffs, baby. We're here for you as well. Listen, if you love the show, if you love to talk about football, we're an interactive, probably the best interactive show you'll ever see. Go head over to Facebook or YouTube. You can search us up on Football on the Know Show. You can hit that subscribe button on YouTube, also the notification bell to let you guys know when we go live. You can also search us up on Twitter, at FB_know. Hit us up. Give us your comments. Drop them down below. Give us all your comments, your questions, anything. Could be fantasy football related, could be team related, could be player related, could be anything at all, as long as it's the NFL. That's what we're down with. And speaking of down with, also this Friday night, if you're local and from the Capital District area in upstate New York, come on, swing on by Hooters right now. We're going to have our first ever Godzilla Media Christmas party. Listen, just you stop by, say hello, get a drink, get some wings, do whatever you got to do. But we're going to have a hell of a time this Friday night from 5 to 7 p.m. This Friday, December 10th. Godzilla Media is partnering with D. Crescenti, Heineken, and Hooters for
I like
a
all
big-time
those.
celebration. Exactly. It's like a trio that just goes together. It works. Like I said before, 5 to 7 p.m. at Hooters is where it's going to be off of Wolf Road. If you bring any unwrapped Christmas gift, the staff from Heineken will wrap your gift for you, free of charge, no problems. Plus, if you bring any unwrapped kids gift to the event, you will have a chance to win $150. That's it, $150 thanks to D. Crescenti. Join Godzilla Media's first ever Christmas party to celebrate the holidays. Enjoy delicious Heineken and to share gifts this Friday, December 10th at Hooters.
I wonder if they're going to do Heineken. Like, is there such thing as a Heineken draft? Do they do Heineken drafts? I don't know. I haven't really seen them that often out there. I know they have the beers, and a lot of people drink the Heinekens with the lime or whatever, so they're trying to kill the skunkiness of the green bottle and all that junk stuff. I don't know. I like to go legit, just straight up. I don't like to grab all the limes and all that other crap and put them in my beers. I don't like a fruit in my beer. I just drink the beer. You know, that's the way it goes. So I'm going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Bring a toy, you guys. Then you can get a chance to win $150. And then that runner-up even gets $100 in Hooters, like, food and stuff like that. So that's a good thing. So, thanks a lot for joining us here tonight. We're super psyched. Last week, again, was crazy. A bunch of different upsets here and there.
Another whirlwind week.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, I mean, so one of the things, though, I think that was surprising, again, it has to be, I guess, the Detroit game there, too. But what happened with even the Chargers and the Cincinnati Bengals? I mean, again, that game, the Chargers, they needed that game to come back and win, but to come back and win like 40-something to 20, I mean, it was just ridiculous. You know, what they did, they put on a shelling after they've been kind of slipping in the last couple of weeks here.
Most of that's attributed to the fact that Joe Burrow got hurt. You know, he really injured his I believe it was his pinky, his throwing hand, and he just couldn't really grip the ball. It was flying out. That's why it led to that drive, that last drive that they had where they were going to come back and either tie it or go ahead with that drive before he threw that interception. That's really what affected him. And because of that interception, that went for 6, and right there that momentum shifted, and they couldn't quite get back because Burrow's hand was injured. They didn't have their quarterback, and and it kind of went off the rails there. So once you lose your starting quarterback, it's almost next to impossible to be the same style offense that you were earlier in the year. So Cincinnati, unfortunately, fell to the Chargers this past week, but due to not really having a starting quarterback being able to carry that team, they really had no leadership there. They really didn't have an answer for the rest of that game, and that's why the Chargers easily pulled away after that crucial turnover.
All right, yeah, absolutely. And so, I mean, when you look at it too, another story I think for the NFL that's been kind of big too is if you look at the Washington football team and the Raiders there. That game, kind of the Raiders let that game just slip right away from them, and now Heineke's legend is growing stronger and stronger by the week, Joe. He's just taking out these quarterbacks, one by one, and now Washington is like making a strong push through to get further up into this division at least, but getting some nice key wins against some nice teams.
So what I'll say about Washington is they're more hyped than they are actual product on the football field. Heineke by no means stole that game away or anything. That game was a very low-scoring game. For the most part, for most of that game, it was single-digit scoring, until the very end. I mean, this game was close all the way through. And I'll say this, the referees are getting worse and worse every single week. It seems like game to game, depending on whatever game it is you're watching, it looks like referees are kind of teetering, the seesaw, in terms of level play, and it's almost like one-sided for one team or another any given week, any given game. It's getting absolutely out of hand where the referees are throwing penalties in crucial situations, whether it be for or against your team. It's almost like they are trying to skew certain games a certain direction for a different outcome. So that game was like the Vegas and Washington game. That was kind of crazy how there was a lot of penalties again this week up and down the board, and that game was no different. Listen, the other thing, too, is for the Raiders, they don't have a coaching staff that's stepping up. They don't have a head coach. They got an offensive coordinator who's very conservative, who's not being aggressive, and that team is faltering for that reason. Washington, what I noticed from Washington is that they're a very careful type of offense. Listen, the bottom line for that game was, for the Raiders, you had to stop the run, which they couldn't do. And for the Washington, football team, they went in there and they ran the ball, and the Raiders didn't have an answer. It's that simple. Other than that, I mean, you had games like, hey, Gardner Minshew started for the Eagles this past week, and he gets a win. And everyone's like, oh, my God, Gardner Minshew should be our starter, over Jalen Hurts, which I think is kind of a little too aggressive there. I mean, Jalen Hurts has done a pretty darn good job for the Eagles in keeping them in the hunt. And, he had a little bit of an injury. He's going to come back, and that's going to be your starter. Listen, Gardner Minshew is a good quarterback. I think it's a great move that they got him in there on a trade before the trade deadline because they needed insurance in case Hurts did get hurt, and they have it there. So that's a good thing for them.
Mm-hmm,
Real quick, who's on the line? Mike Tackett?
Go ahead. Mike Tackett's in the house with us tonight, and Brandon's in the house with us tonight, too, as well.
Yeah, Brandon says, hello, good people. Hello, Brandon.
Hello.
What's going on? Mike Tackett says, happy hump day, y'all. He said, last week, yours truly went 8-6, making my total 119 wins and 73 losses on the year.
Mm-hmm. Did he miss? How many losses did he have?
73.
73. Where are we at? I know.
So,
it makes me think that he missed a week or something.
He also said, fun fact, Derrick Henry hasn't played since week 8 and is still third in the league in rushing.
That is funny. That is funny.
That is great.
And I think I just saw something
stuff.
about the Titans like looking to trying to the picture and maybe trying to get Julio Jones back and Derrick Henry too as well to make a push for the playoffs here.
Another
right
know-it-all just chimed in.
Yeah, absolutely. Tom Leiter's in the house with us tonight
What's up,
too
Tom?
as well. He says if quarterbacks like Rodgers, Brady, and Wilson get hurt, ticket sales go down on even away games, flags will fly protecting them. Yeah, I mean, and it just that's the thing with these guys. Joe and I were talking about this. By the way, you guys, we're going to talk about the playoff picture a little bit here and there. We're going to cover just about a bunch of teams. So if you guys want to bring up any topics too out there, go ahead, bring them at us here too, Tom. Yeah, all you guys. So we were talking about this before, like the way this particular off season could look. It could get really crazy. Like we're already excited for what's can happen after this season, before even the Super Bowl gets here, because the quarterback carousel, what's going on, that debacle that there is in Seattle, but they were able to pull out a victory still last week, out of that whole mess. The free agency that's going to go on, the trading. I mean, you can see all these key quarterbacks, like the three that you had named. One might retire here, so what's going to happen with some of the free agents that are going on with Tampa Bay? Are some of them going to leave if Tom Brady will no longer be there? Or are they going to lock themselves in, and then Tom Brady will possibly eventually retire or something like that after a year or so? Then they're stuck there trying to rebuild possibly. And then Wilson, is he absolutely done here? Are they going to choose their coaching, or are they Pete Carroll, or are they going to, stick with Wilson and say, we'll get you a new coach, new GM, whatever it takes to keep you here? So that's an interesting story. And
There's
then
a lot
Green
of
Bay, again, is it completely done? The door's completely locked. Is Adams going to go with him too, wherever he might go? Is that going to work out that way? Or is he going to go fish out somewhere else and get a big deal with a different team on his own?
That's what the expectancy is.
A lot of different things.
Everybody's expecting Rodgers to move on and go to a different team, which could happen. But also, as far as Davante Adams goes, he's this is his last year on his contract. However, they could still tag him to keep him there. And the interesting debate now is for Green Bay. Like, what decision do they make? Davante Adams isn't young anymore. He's 30 years old, I think, right now. He's going to be 31 next year. And do you want to invest, say, I don't know what the end number is going to be right just yet, but say $14 million to tag him, right, for 1 year. It's like basically a 1-year rental for his services. He's going to eventually leave because you don't have a quarterback there. Mm-hmm. If you tag him, he's 30. He's at the end of towards the end of his career. You want to give him a lump sum of money for 1 season just to hold on to him, even though you don't have a quarterback ready to throw to him. And you're going to have a disgruntled receiver return to Green Bay, say, well, you don't have a quarterback. What am I doing here? And he's at the end of his NFL lifespan. Mm-hmm. So what's going to, be involved with that situation? Do they tag him? Do they not tag him? And then maybe use that money for a free agent, maybe like a Chris Godwin or something if he's available or something like that. So there's a lot of things that are in play this upcoming offseason, which is going to be really exciting because you got a lot of quarterbacks that could go to different teams. You got, like Jim was just saying, Russell Wilson could demand a trade and want to get out of Seattle. You have Deshaun Watson, who a lot of people they haven't even talked about it because he's still going through that court issue of his. But next offseason, he's going to be dealt. Mm-hmm. We just don't know where. It's going to happen. He's not going to return to Houston. So that's another storyline to keep an eye on. So, I mean, besides free agency and what free agents could be available and trades and all that, what have you, it's going to be a really exciting offseason. But before we get there, we have to go through the rest of the season. Mm-hmm. We have to get to the playoffs and by the end, crown a new champion.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of crown new champions, I mean, let's talk about the playoff picture like we're getting here. Well, before we get to that, Tom Leiter, we're all about our followers out there first.
Right.
So Tom Leiter chimes in here. He says, off topic, Kenny Pickett of Pitt did a fake slide against Wake Forest. Mm-hmm. All right, great. I'm glad we're bringing this up because
yes.
Joe and I have not talked about this yet, by the way. Right. So what you're getting now is our honest opinions, raw, cut, fresh right now.
Uncut.
All right, here we go.
Not cut.
All right, yeah. All right, so here we go. Fake slide against Wake Forest. 2 defensive players gave up on the play.
Right.
New rule or no? Joe, why don't you go first?
Here's what I'll say. First of all, it's not off topic. It's football, Tom. Mm-hmm. We're all here to talk about football no matter what. But this in particular play, I remember seeing this play happen, and I think it should be a new rule. I don't think you should be allowed to fake a slide and then advance further. Because, listen, this whole time everybody's being asked to protect the quarterbacks. They shouldn't be taking unnecessary hits. They should be sliding, and then they don't get touched. But now you throw in the quarterback who's going to be slick enough to say, oh, I'm going to fake a slide, then pop up and take off and running. That's not cool because you've already handcuffed the defensive players enough, I think. I think you went overboard on that situation. Mm-hmm. But now you're asking them to, not only do you have to be careful if you hit him, now you got to watch for him to fake a slide before you can tackle him and stop all momentum. So I think, yes, there should be a rule. It should not be allowed. It is not okay to do that. And another example, too, this is something that in the NFL ranks, this happens a lot. I don't know how much it happens in college. I haven't really seen it that much. But Patrick Mahomes, a lot of these mobile quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson even at times, if they escape the pocket and they're running towards the sideline, now all of a sudden they decide to cut up the field and go up the sideline. They see a defender coming full board, going to pop them right out of bounds. But before they get there, they just take that quick step out of bounds. And then with all that momentum, they can't hold up. They either push them or hit them. And now it's a flag. That, to me, is also an issue. I think that the quarterbacks, if they want to turn upfield and become a running back, if you take that last second step out of bounds and you get hit, hey, oh well. That should be part of it, because if they don't hit you or don't shove you out, you can keep running up the sideline. It's a fine line there where they just, my foot's out. Where's the penalty? Where's the penalty? You know what I mean? So that's another issue I have with the NFL. But yes, I do believe in college, even in the NFL, because if that starts to happen now in the NFL, this is opening up a whole bag of tricks.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to answer this, and I think that it should not be a new rule. I think you're allowed to do that type of play. If you want to fake a slide, it's just as like a juke move. You're faking to go left. You're faking to go right. You could be faking to go out of bounds, like you said. You want to go out of bounds, but then you didn't exactly go out. If you want to decide to stay in, you stay in. And he kind of made a move like he was gonna, if they call it even like in flag, you can do like a dip so you can't capture a flag. It was sort of like a dip, like he was going to slide, but he kept moving. If you give up on a play, that's you. And if you don't,
but on the contrary,
it's not like
to
they were going to go and try and go. It doesn't mean you need to go full board.
On the contrary to that,
what?
On the contrary to that, if you're going to go down and dip and you get hit, and they say, he was going down the slide, so that's a penalty. How is that okay? Because if he really wasn't going down, he just dipped.
Well, that's whether he did or not.
And they're seeing it as a slide because they're being the
you
quarterbacks
can see
are being
things as however you want to see it.
The quarterbacks are being asked to be protected all the time.
Yeah.
So now you're saying it's okay to fake going out of bounds or fake sliding and keep going.
You see it.
You're already handcuffing the defenders right now as it is to not hit them as soon as they go down. Now you're saying that's okay if they fake going down and then continue?
Brandon says you dip, I'm laying you out, and then Tom says play to the whistle. So this is what I'm saying though too, because you saw it even. You want to bring up the Chiefs game? He looked like he was going to possibly go out of bounds and kind of slow down. And the defender, I think it was Patrick Surtain, kind of gave up and let him score he just went and boom, scored the touchdown.
Yeah.
You could have just popped him right there. Why didn't he? I have no idea why. He wasn't like he was going to go out of bounds at the 1 yard line. He's going to go for the touchdown. You hit him. And I don't think he would have got a flag for that. And if you did, then it is bullshit. But I'm saying if you want to take certain things like that, moves out of the way, then you've got to look at everything. I mean, play-action pass is a fake run. So you want to call it so there's no more play-action passes because you're faking a run?
No.
People do a fake spike, and then they throw it. You want to take that out of the game? There's a rule you can't do a fake spike anymore because they expect you to spike it.
That's
so
a play.
Now you threw it. That's not fair.
That's a play.
But just like in move, though, if you want to fake slide, you could fake slide if you want. It's another move to dodge a defender.
But
that's
the reason. That is the reason why you can't allow the fake slide, if you will, because you're already asking these defenders to hold up. As soon as you see that quarterback go down the slide, you're asked to either jump over him, not make any contact, and that's it. So as soon as the guy fakes it, the defender's, of course, going to lay up or jump over him or whatever, thinking that he's going to slide. Mm-hmm. And in turn, if he just kind of pops back up off of his ankle or something and continues to run, that's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. You
yeah,
can't,
but
you can't
I mean,
ask
but
them
even if
to
you think,
not hit them.
But yeah, well, maybe it'll caution even players to even try and wrap up and tackle instead of go and pop a guy that's coming that's a quarterback and try to pop him and actually make a real tackle.
Part of it
if you're
is
trying to slide.
him.
If you go to make a real tackle when it's a slide, you're not going to go helmet to helmet or even blast them.
You're not supposed to go helmet to helmet regardless. You're supposed to go shoulder.
Well, it's what you're saying. You say you want to protect the quarterback, so why can't he shouldn't be able to fake a slide because they're giving up on it because they don't want to get that penalty,
right?
That type of hit on him. But if they're trying to wrap up and tackle him anyways, they're not going to get that. You've seen a bunch of times when guys do slide and they get hit as they're going down, there is not a flag.
If you
when you're
make any
drilling
contact
him,
and he's in the position of sliding, they will throw the flag.
I've
seen it numerous times.
No,
absolutely,
not always. No,
I've even seen less.
I saw it even too last week.
I've seen it less, bro. I've seen a guy just kind of like
I disagree.
Lay on him, like not even really hit him. He just kind of like lost his bounce a little bit, laid on him. They still threw the flag. So you can't go back and forth and say, oh well, if he fake slides, and you pop him. That's going to be a penalty. That's kind of crazy.
I disagree. There might be a penalty. Like Tom Leiter says, they might change it. They might change the rule, and
you can't ask to protect him and then say no. We're not going to protect him.
Yeah. It's just
it's just going to be another penalty. Ridiculous. And these referees can't even decipher what a penalty is anyway.
All right,
get out of here.
It's done, Ed. Tom says no fighting. All right, we're not gonna fight anymore. We're just gonna agree to disagree. But one thing maybe we can all agree on is maybe there should be more penalties on what's going on the field than taunting penalties. How about that? Throw out the taunting penalties and actually some things that are actually physically hurting other players out there and causing injuries. Kenyon Drake was out there and he had that rolled ankle, and when he was talking about players rolling over and tackling and doing that to their legs, I think there potentially could be maybe a penalty to that, but then that is ticky-tacky because they don't mean to. A lot of them don't mean to. People fall on top of each other all the time.
It happens.
There's a play happening behind an offensive lineman, and he gets pushed into and hit from behind and rolled up on. So, that's tough. So I don't even really see that could potentially be another rule that's going to change either because it's tough to judge.
No, you can't judge it.
But
that's going to happen too.
I don't know. I thought it was a great play. I'm watching Kenny Pickett. I thought that was a great play.
With tackling, with tackling, that kind of stuff's going to happen. Guys get twisted around. You're supposed to bring the guy down any means necessary without poking his eye out or something or pulling on his helmet or a horse collar or something like that. But by any means necessary to drag him down. And if you happen to be dragging his upper body down, but then you're leaning back and you happen to sit on his foot and sprain his ankle or whatever, it's part of it. It's too hard to decipher. Oh, was that intentional?
His intent.
Come on.
The intent.
I watched that. Even I watched that tackle, and I was like, well, he got injured.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. No, I hear you there. So, Tom, way to get us amped up. You know how to do it. That's right.
Kenyon Drake, toughen up.
Yeah. So there we go. So thanks a lot everybody for joining us here tonight. We were just about to get into talking about the playoff picture. A few weeks ago we talked about this, but a lot of the teams have flipped and flopped and mixed over. And last time we talked, the Patriots were in the 7th seed. Now they're right up there in the 1st seed. And let's talk about that Monday Night Football game to where it was between the Bills and the Patriots, and the Bills really needed to pull out that victory because the rest of their schedule gets really tough. They got the Buccaneers this week, and the Patriots are on a bye, and they're riding high. And Buffalo, they just cannot really get it together, it seems like, on offense at all.
That game was a different game altogether because with the crazy winds that were happening, if you were going against the wind, it looked like Josh Allen, obviously he had the rifle, to try to go against the wind and make some plays happen. But for the most part, it was a sloppy game from Buffalo's offense. We didn't see too many, big gains or too many long drives to capitalize at the end. It was a very, very, very rough game for both teams, I'll say. But the one team that got the better of them was the team that could run the ball the best. And we saw the Patriots run all over the Buffalo Bills. And what was confusing to me is I'm watching that game. What exactly was Buffalo doing in terms of making adjustments? because you saw
nothing. They didn't make any.
Time and time again, Buffalo the Patriots kept running the ball. Okay, well, if I'm the defensive coordinator, I'm like, all right, they're going to try to run the ball down our throat. Okay, fine. You know what I'm doing? I'm loading the box up, and I'm trying to stuff their run. I'm going to play man-to-man on the outside. I have the personnel to do that and still be confident on who's going to come away the winner on that. So let's play it. Put everybody, as many as we can, up in the box. Stop the run game. Let's force Mac Jones to throw the football in these weather conditions, right? Nope.
Right.
They didn't really do that too much. They did it at times, but not enough. And then the Patriots were just smarter. I mean, Bill Belichick had his team ready with the weather conditions the way they were, and he just got the better of the Buffalo Bills. He was able to run the ball literally all game. Mac Jones only went 2 for 3. He had 3 attempts.
2 for 3. How about that, right?
3 passing attempts for 19 yards. Isn't that crazy? Mm-hmm. That is absolutely crazy to me. I cannot remember.
Mind-blowing.
I cannot remember for the life of me a game like that where one team just ran the ball all game. Mm-hmm. It was like high school football all over again. Mm-hmm. Just run the ball.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You watch it and you're just kind of like, it's a run play, and they're like, they keep running, and it's like they keep getting more yards. So we're like, hey guys, it's working. Let's just do it again until they can stop us, and they just couldn't, and it's kept doing it. And like you said, you're looking for the adjustments here. If we're watching it and seeing it, and again, and even the announcers are calling it out. I mean, Brian Greasy's even calling it out there again. Come on,
that guy's blind, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and he's telling you, listen, it's basic math out here. It's basic math. He's saying, I've got 9 guys up here on the line on it, and you're bringing 7. We're gonna win on this one. You got 2 safeties that are just chilling back there, waiting for something, to finally get to the runner. But he's already got his chunk yards here, so they're trying to bring him down after the fact. Why not, like you said, load the box, cover 0, whatever, bring the safeties up, lock it in, so then you have a better chance, cram it up. And you knew, it's not like they were scheming and surprising you, this might be a run, we're not sure.
No, I know.
There was no read options, there weren't any of this other toss and this and that. They put in jumbo guys, everything. A certain personnel came in. Here comes John Smith. Here comes this guy. Boom, he's in. They're going to come out, and they're going to bring these guys in when they might pass. But they just showed you. He went 2 for 3. 3 pass attempts. Boom. You know what I'm saying? They had, at one point in the third quarter, I think it was 29 consecutive runs. When you should know that they are running, I mean, you should be able to have a few stops there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Especially when this defense has been known to be able to stop the run at times. And
absolutely.
You couldn't do it.
Yep.
And they were throwing it into your face, and it was almost laughable. They're like, really? This is hilarious. Let's just keep doing it, And that's what the Patriots do to you. They're just like, here we go. We're just gonna, if it works, we're just going to keep running on you. We don't need our quarterback to do it. We don't want him to throw in the wind. We'll just keep running it. And it wasn't even like one key player. That's what I mean. When it wasn't even Harris and he got injured for a bit, Stevenson was out there and just like, he's doing it.
Yep.
Bye. It was just sickening that they put up almost 300 yards rushing on you and 19 yards passing.
And then when you have on the other side of it, Buffalo's offense throughout that game, it was almost like they were rushing. They were pressuring themselves to score quicker. Mm-hmm. They were trying to throw the ball down the field, and they were just off key because I don't know if it was obviously the weather conditions definitely inhibited that deep passing game that they like to utilize with Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. However, they didn't have to rush and score right away. The game was close for the most part for the majority of the game.
Yeah.
Why not work it down the field? 5 to 10 yards, just kind of work it down, mix it with the run, and see if you can get down there and get back into the game. It was almost like they were rushing to try to get back ahead too soon when they had plenty of time. And it didn't – obviously, it just didn't pan out for them.
And you had the missed field goal and then you had missed opportunities when they went for it.
Right, and for New England – they could have blew this game wide open. Listen, what they did is they wore down Buffalo's defense to the point where they were just exhausted by the second half. They couldn't do much after that point. But New England could have, if they kind of made their offense a little bit more balanced, just utilizing that 5 to 10-yard passing offense that they like to do often, along with the run game, they really could have freaking unloaded on this team, and it wouldn't even have been close at all.
A shout out to Paul Matty in the house with us tonight. He's watching from Florida. We got a few people from Florida.
Welcome to the show.
Mike Tackett says, this week Mac Jones was that kid in science class who did the bare minimum in the group. and still got a passing grade.
Yes.
And Tom Leiter says, so Jones is assistant quarterback, LOL. Brandon says, Bills defense gave up almost 500 yards in the last 2 games on the ground. Yeah, it's sickening. And that's what, you know what, Bill Belichick probably looked at that last game, and that's what he says. He's like, there you go. You maybe we can do that. We'll just beat them this way.
Where's the adjustment, Steve?
Yeah, and that's what you got to do. Sean McDermott, you're a defensive guy, and again, they said when Sean McDermott pulled Matt Milano aside and said something to him, that's when Matt Milano kept charging up through the line and making those stops there. But by then it's almost too late. And again, the rest of your players are tired. The NFL would love a Tampa Bay versus Belichick Super Bowl, says Tom Leiter. I think so again still. I mean, that would be a tough one for some of these other fans to watch, and some of us. Like, who would you root for? And that's what I kind of I think of now when I watch this too as well. It's funny you bring this up, Tom, because I find myself it feels like since Tom Brady left the Patriots, I feel like a weight has been lifted from me. It's like now I can hate on the Bucks, but I almost feel like I root for the Patriots now.
Isn't that weird?
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It's like I feel like since that has been gone, that evil spirit has left the house. I'm like, I kind of like these Patriots. They're winning with some of these guys still. You know, not a whole lot of big names on the team. You know, you got your good tight ends that you have there. You know,
they got some big names on defense.
Well, I was gonna say Matthew Judon's been balling it out, but again, they're winning, and he's showing people what he's been able to do with his coaching staff too as well. And just they've got the system that works.
And not to mention, like the Patriots offense, and another thing that kind of really helps out Mac Jones. And that's the other thing too, is like I'm a fan of Mac Jones coming out of college.
That's a thing too.
So like I'm rooting for him to do well.
Right.
And since he's on the Patriots, I'm like, it's Mac Jones. I like him. Let's see what he can do. But their offensive line is one of the best in the league. Like
that is
let's just say that. I mean, that's really going to help them out. And it's funny because I think their offensive line is more popular than any of the receivers that they got on that team at the moment. But also with Tampa Bay and Tom Brady, like I was a big Tom Brady hater early in his career. I felt like he developed this arrogance about him, this ego that he had in New England, that he was better than everybody. And that's the kind of persona that I took from him in New England. Shakalaka. But now that he's in Tampa, I don't notice that same kind of ego from Tom anymore.
Yeah, that's true too.
And now that Tom Brady has moved on from New England and is now in Tampa, I'm tending to be like, maybe Tom Brady isn't that bad. You know what I mean? Like it's literally really weird.
I kind of hear you too. I kind of hear you too on that one. Again, it's not like I said it before. Like you want to hate on him, but I think I just don't want him to win any more rings. I'm like, it's over. I want to see somebody else in there. It's almost like when some of the reason we stopped watching basketball, at least for me too. I hate seeing the same teams over there over and over again.
True,
and it's the same crap over, and it just overall the sport sucks. But Tom Brady, you know, it win another one. Yeah, okay, that's fine. You go to the Bucks, but they are already stacked with players anyways, so you just helped out. They just needed that guy that wasn't going to make the mistakes.
Yeah.
But as you see him get older and stuff like that too, and you're hearing more of his story, and you get to see more of his personality. Seems like he's opened up more now than ever.
Yeah, he's looser now
about anything, and so you get to see more of that personality that I think that other people behind the scenes get to see, and why he could be a likable guy. You know what I mean? And he's just a really tough competitor. He really likes to compete. Tom Leiter here says he's the GOAT. As far as this point, it is. You can't deny it. But, again, it's what you're talking about, though. If you're talking about, yes, he has the most championships, greatest of all time with championships. I agree. Played with some great teams. As far as most best athlete ever and all this other shit? No, I don't think so. Again, I don't think so. Even though he has been older and playing until an older age, like he's a year, I think, younger than I am, something like that. Yeah, that's something to be, happy and proud of, and a nice accomplishment. You know, he takes care of his body and stuff, but as far as best athlete and greatest, that's all debatable crap that everybody can debate. Not debatable, Paul Matty says basketball does suck. See, there you go. Win there. Tom Leiter, salary cap is the difference between NFL and those NBA super teams. I agree there. Plus, also, I think the NBA doesn't make a stand on the players. They go whatever the players want. Let's just make them happy. Let's do this, the blah, blah, blah. Let's do profit sharing, all this other stuff. I think that the players control more of the league than what happens with the NFL or the MLB, stuff like that. There is no salary cap in the MLB, and money's running rampant there. But they're striking now again, I think, or some shit. But the owners
There's a
have them
luxury
by the
tax.
balls there, though, still. The owners are the owners, all right? It's bottom line.
That's the-
NBA, they're like, players, what do you want? You want to do special names or whatever on the jerseys, whatever you want? Sure, here you go. You want to do blah, 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 blah? All right, that's fine. Whatever you guys want.
What's
You know what I
funny
mean?
about
Let's have a Drake day. Okay, sure. You know, it's
What's
like, what the hell, dude? What are you doing?
What's
is
funny
this?
about the MLB, too, is they have a so-called luxury tax, which is the big deterrent for going over whatever threshold they're limited to. And all the owners do was like, oh, sure, we'll pay the luxury tax. Sure, why not? And just get away with it.
All right, let's do everybody's posting up here on the comments. We're going to roll through this. Let's have some fun with this. This is a football show, though. But let's start off with Tom Leiter. Go Sonics. Yeah, there we go. Stephen Bukkake in the house. Let's go Mets. Stephen Bukkake says, go Rangers.
What?
We're just hitting them all up, right? So now you know our New York guys from our Seattle guys. You can see this, right? Supersonics. I wish they were a team still. I remember those old days and stuff like that. Gary Payton and Sean Kemp. That's when we used to watch basketball. At least Joe and I. It was good, even though they had those key big players. It seemed like still any team could have won those. I mean, those tough rivalries, Knicks and Bulls, and then if it wasn't the Knicks, it was the Bulls. It was the Bulls and the Pistons, and then back and forth all over. It was just the Lakers still. It was magical. Now it's just throw a bunch of 3-pointers up. You make maybe 20% of them, and it's either a blowout win or a blowout loss. You lose. It's bad. It just looks really bad.
Yep.
I'd rather watch WNBA at this point. You know what I mean? At least that's competitive back and forth. Here we go. There are a lot of people in this room tonight. Right on. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go. Keep it rolling.
We're paying attention to everybody out there. Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Raiders just have their kickers 4 years, 18 million. Kicker, I think that's what, just have their kicker 4 years, 18 mil is what Brandon says there. All right, so we caught up with all the comments. We got it. Okay, good. All right. Really, they signed him, what, 18 million in 4 years? Interesting.
When you have a really good kicker, you hold
I guess
on
he's
to
pretty good. Yeah. I think that his autocorrect is going nuts right now.
Brandon. Let's go.
Congratulations.
Keep it together.
Played yourself.
Yeah. His autocorrect is going all over the place.
I know you're excited to get to
don't
comment.
hit send. Yeah, just check it before you send it. Oh man, I'm like trying to read some weird words. I'm like, I don't know what that word is. But
Is that a symbol?
yeah. But anyways, New England takes the top spot. And the Bills, now they're on the outside looking in, Joe. They're one of those teams now on the bubble in this whole playoff picture. And the Patriots are leading the way, and now they're on a bye week, so it's nice for them. And then if you look at the next couple teams here, you've got the Titans and the Ravens. Let's look at these two teams. The Titans, they've been trying to get by without having two of their big players, mainly Derrick Henry not there. And so teams have been kind of keying them up as like basically let's just try and stop the run here because Derrick Henry's not there, and just pin their ears back on Ryan Tannehill, just let him make mistakes and blah 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 and go at him in that, and it's been working for a lot of teams. So Tennessee, even though they're still 8-4 there, so that looks nice for them, they're treading water right here, but it's getting kind of thin with some of these other teams that are in the mix.
But they're doing just fine. I mean, even without having Derrick Henry's not there, their defense has stepped up. It's definitely gotten better this season, and they're finding ways to win the game. So, if they can keep it going, it's going to be tough, but if they can keep it going and stay relevant, listen, they're one win away from being tied for first place right now.
Yeah,
they
were
a funny on top, and they're just a game behind. So now with the Patriots having a bye week, if they win this week, they're right there again. They're tied right there for the first dibs to get that bye. And then with the Ravens, this is another team that I feel like is on the decline right now. They started off rough. They had a big surge of wins, and now it seems like they're tripping over themselves a little bit. And could it be that the Baltimore Ravens now look beatable to everybody? I mean, it's with Lamar Jackson almost pressuring himself to become more of a throwing quarterback lately. I mean, he's just forcing balls to receivers that just are not open. And sometimes just floating it to the defender. The receiver's not even close. So he's been making big-time bad decisions, and it's leading to turnovers, which is hurting this team. And whatever the opponent is that's facing him are capitalizing on it and getting that lead and maintaining it. So they've been losing, a couple of games, and now it's like, what kind of a Ravens team do we have here? I thought for sure as long as Lamar Jackson stayed healthy, he got COVID, he was out, he got injured a little bit, and now he's back, and it's like, oh, well, Baltimore's going to get right back on the same page. He's going to get right back in the flow of things, and they'll end up, maybe running away with this division and maybe pushing for a higher, spot for the playoffs. So you got to wonder. Now it's a little tricky now in the AFC, especially. What teams are really legit? What teams are falling on their face? There's a lot to sort out. But for one thing that we can be sure is Baltimore is not on the rise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've kind of it's kind of funny because now it seems like Baltimore to me is getting to that team that we kind of saw in the beginning of the season when we had to do our preseason type of predictions for the division. And we kind of saw them stepping back, I think, a little bit and not taking this division. And now I think we're seeing that a lot this season. They've been in a lot of close games. Remember, they just won a game with that long record-breaking field goal against the Detroit Lions. A lot of other tough, nail-biting games that they were behind in, that they came from behind and end up getting a victory. So they're 8-4. To me, when you look at that, I'm like scratching my head and like, they are really 8-4. I'm like, I could have swear they were like 7 and 6 or whatever. They were not. They're not very good. I'm like, wow. I mean, that's even surprising that they only have 4 losses. Seems like it could be more, and because it's the way I think that they've been playing. But also, I think it starts with their running game. They've had multiple injuries at the running back position, and it seems like you said, Lamar Jackson isn't really going to the well as much as trying to take off and run the last couple of weeks. It seems like he's trying to air the ball out more when he's under duress and trying to show that he is that pocket passer. And some of them he's living on a prayer and end up banking on. But some of the other ones, when it's just like you saw in this last game, when they go for the 2-point conversions, just a little bit out of reach from Mark Andrews, and that's the game. So sometimes if you gamble so many times, you're going to win, but you're also going to get losses like this, and this is what you get out of the Baltimore Ravens. But for me, I think it's now we're kind of seeing what we maybe thought people were going to dial in and kind of get, Lamar Jackson a little bit more, and they're going to take a step back. Yeah. And I think that's what we're seeing now here. We're just kind of surprised because, again, some of these tough wins that they've had, I'm like, that gives you grit. That's what you need to make a playoff push. But they're not looking so good right now.
No, and another thing that we're seeing, too, is teams that are able to are keying on the run. They're making Baltimore one-dimensional to where Lamar has to throw the ball or run with it, either way. But because of that, because they're stunting that run game of theirs, now it's all on Lamar. What are you going to do, Lamar? Are you going to be able to make the right read to get the ball to the right person accurately and make the play? And with them becoming more one-dimensional in games, teams are now starting to pin their ears back and go after Lamar. And Lamar's just kind of like we both talked about. He's rushing the throw. He's just throwing it up. He's hoping that eventually somebody's going to come down with it and it'll be in a Ravens jersey. Not the opposing team, but that's what seems to be happening. So this Baltimore offense has to come. They need to dial things back a little bit. They need to try to find their identity once again. Like we were used to Lamar Jackson and the running back by committee approach and them having so many different option plays. Remember that? Mm-hmm. The option plays. You know what I mean? Where he would fake it to one running back, give it to another guy, maybe even throw it to a wide receiver screen, or he fakes it to the receiver screen and he takes off running. There was a lot of trickery involved. Now it looks like teams are starting to figure them out a little bit and putting everything on Lamar. And because of that, this Ravens offense right now is struggling.
Tom Leiter says, like making Russell Wilson a pocket quarterback, knowing he does so well rolling out of the pocket. Absolutely.
Right.
Same thing. We saw it, and now I think even we saw a little bit with RG3, and now he's going to have a tell-all type of story. I think it's a book, or is it a book, or is it a show about the Washington football team now and his time there?
I think it's a book.
I think it's a book, yeah, about stuff, and you might see some of that, what they tried to do for him there. Tom also says Goff that much better than Stafford.
No.
I don't know about that. I mean,
No.
is that a joke or what? I mean, let me ask you, Tom, out there. Now, if looking at the Lions to where they are now, say we swap and that trade never happened, do you think that the Lions would be in the same position that they are in right now? Do you think they had more wins, or they would have about the same that they have now? And maybe even vice versa for the Rams. Do you think they would have the same record they have now, or they would be worse if you had the Goff with them? For me, I think if Stafford was on the Lions right now, they wouldn't be 1-10-1 or whatever their record is. I think they would have more than one victory.
I think they would have 5 wins.
Yeah.
I think that's what they would have.
I think some of those tougher ones that they were close, he would have had it. Yes, I understand though too. I've watched those Los Angeles Rams games this year, the past couple of weeks. He's been known for the pick six. It's getting pretty bad over there. But again, that's just the team not being able to get the ball running too as well for that team and struggling in the running game. So that's part of it as well, and not getting the protection when you're getting pressured all the time. And not being able to get some time to get the ball out, it makes a difference. Like everybody says, what's the key to stopping Tom Brady? What's the key to stop? No quarterback says, "Oh yeah, I love it when you put pressure in my face or you blitz me up the middle."
Right.
And this it's
like,
I just get better. You know what I mean? No, that's the key to doing it. And you're seeing when you see good quarterbacks, they make mistakes like that. And even Matthew Stafford, Tom Leiter says he's been called a running back so much he probably thinks he has something to prove.
He definitely does.
I think he does too. I think so as well. And also, I think the problem with some of these guys too, because they've been told that they're so special too, and they are. He's very athletic. He's very phenomenal. Dynamic, another word. Thank you, Joe. I think a lot of them, though, and you see it, they're spoon-fed these things. You see what Patrick Mahomes, Joe and I talked about it earlier. I'm sure you guys relate. They feel like they got to put it on their shoulders. You see it with Baker Mayfield. You see it with a lot of other younger quarterbacks out there. Patrick Mahomes, man, our team's just not getting in there. I have to do something. I have to make a play. I have to do this. I have to throw it out there. I have to do this. I have to do that. And if it doesn't go right, well, it's all my fault. I didn't get it out there. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Blah, blah, blah. Because they get told, they're like, hey, this is the star player. You got to be able to do this. You got to do that. And, again, like we heard it on the television when he made those deep throws 2 weeks ago to Mark Andrews again. He's just airing it out there. All right, if that's a different quarterback other than Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes, we'll say it's somebody they don't like. Say it's even Jared Goff at this point. Say he aired out a ball like that. They're like, whoa, what is he doing? And then all of a sudden, ends up being a passer and catch.
Heavily
like, wow.
criticized.
Like, wow, you do not make that throw.
Right.
You shouldn't have done that. They got lucky there.
Yeah.
Instead, with Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, they say, this is the new breed of quarterback. They're willing to make those chances, take those chances.
He's giving his receiver a shot.
It's kind of like, what the hell are you looking at, dude? You know what I mean?
It's a terrible
decision. Like that's a bad idea too. The jump throws, stuff like that, bad mechanics, jumping and throwing across your body. Nobody teaches that, and it's not a good habit to have. Yes, you can pull it off here and there, sure, but that will only happen and only get you so far. But there you go. I mean, so then we got the Ravens. They're on the thing. They're on the cusp here. They're still in it, but they just don't look very good right now.
No, they
but
definitely
luckily
don't.
with the AFC, it's really close.
I think they lost. What'd they lose? Like out of the last 4 games, they lost 3 maybe. Mm-hmm. Would you say?
I think
that's
so.
how it was.
It's
because
a few.
If you
it's
remember,
weird. They win one and then they lose
week
one,
one,
and they win one, they lose
right,
one. And
week,
this week they got the Browns, a tough divisional
week
game
1,
as well.
They played the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Raiders beat them. Mm-hmm. After that loss, I think they went on a big winning streak for it felt like forever. And then all of a sudden, the past 4 weeks, I feel like they've only won 1 game. So down when it's crunch time now, and they got to face some of their divisional opponents and what have you. it seems like now they're struggling now, and it's not the right time to struggle. You got to try to maintain your position and your rank in the playoff picture to where you can't be losing games right now. And so far they've fallen down two spots, and they are trending towards being in risk of missing out on the playoffs.
All right, when we talk about missing out, do not miss out this week, all right? Our pals at Mohawk Honda that are our sponsor there, we love Mohawk Honda. They're in Freeman's Bridge Road. If you're looking to trade in your car, they'll give you top dollar right now for your car.
Yep.
Christmas time, what better thing to do to get yourself, your loved one, a car, too? It's trade in your old one, get them a brand new one. That's great and all, and I love those guys, but right now, check this out. I posted up on our Facebook page and all that stuff.
Yep.
Charities. Now is the time to give to your charities, stuff like that. We need to take care of one another. I know there's a charity that fits your heart, close to your hearts out there. And there is for mine. You share them during your birthday times and stuff like that. And Mohawk Honda, they go out of their way to please you. And this is another thing that they do. It is the 12 days of giving from Mohawk Honda. Head to Mohawk Honda's Facebook page right now to nominate a charity and to receive $5,000.
Wow.
Make sure to comment and tag the charity in the comments along with a like and just sharing the pin post on their Facebook page. So make sure you like it, share it, and pin it to their page. And from now until December 10th, so that's in 2 days, Mohawk Honda will be accepting these submissions. Now on December 11th, Mohawk Honda will start announcing a charity a day, the 12 days of giving. So 12 days all the way until Christmas, 12 lucky charities will be getting $5,000 apiece each.
Awesome.
Share your nominations today. So that's it. If there is a charity that you hold dear to your heart,
amazing.
And Tom Leiter, you're in Seattle, that doesn't matter, dude. Mohawk Honda
doesn't exclude
you. Go to their page. Again, go to the pin post, share the charity. Maybe they'll select your charity out there. $5,000 goes to that charity. Check it out. And then he says, if I can't make a toy donation to your cause, I will cash donation. Get me in your drawing. So there you go. About the thing. Yeah, maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll have my wife bring a toy. How about that? Well, I'll bring one, and then she will bring one. We could probably bring two each one to say this one's from Tom Leiter. Yeah, but this one's from Tom. Maybe that'll work out. There we go. We'll get you in there, buddy. Yeah, because I think it's like $150 in a Visa card or something like that, too. So it's not like all of a sudden, they have to put your name on it and all this other junk. So it will mail you the card. How about that? We're legit like that. But, Mohawk Honda definitely giving out to all the people. They're a business for the people.
And for 12 days, that's astonishing.
$5,000 a day, dude.
To a random charity that they pick, and it's $5,000. What a big time donation. Mohawk Honda, props to you guys. Way to step up in this time of donating and giving. Amazing. 12 days, $5,000 a day to any given charity every single day for 12 days. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Great job, Mohawk Honda.
Yep, absolutely. So let's get back to the playoff hunt a little bit here. We got a few more on the AFC, and then we'll get to the NFC.
Let's go.
Chiefs, which is group these two, they're in the AFC West. The Chiefs have bumped up to the top of the AFC West. Chargers still there. These two teams, the Chiefs are on the rise.
Yes.
The Chargers are that team that reminds me of the Baltimore Ravens, kind of where they win a few. There's some that they should win and they lose those.
They win one and lose two.
That they shouldn't, they pull one out, or they last week they really hammered it down on the Cincinnati Bengals, and it helped with Joe Burrow being out too on that injury.
That's the reason.
That is partially the reason there. But the Chiefs, again, for me, I think they're kind of opportunistic at this time too. Mm-hmm. This stretch of their schedule has been really easy for them too. I mean, when you got to play teams like the Giants and stuff like that, some of these teams that aren't very good, it's a good chance for you to reset, get yourself back here and get back on it. Plus, to make some more adjustments to those teams trying to make those two deep backs defenses on them.
Yeah, the two safety look that they're doing. And here's a funny thing. It does affect them.
And they got Clyde Edwards-Helaire back, so that getting that running back game helps a little bit too I think.
To me, that doesn't do anything, because even with the backs that they already have, with that Gore kid who came on out of nowhere, guy's actually running harder than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, personnel-wise, I think they're super deep, but they still haven't been running a heck of a lot. They're still a heavy passing team, and they're not going to deviate too much from that. And that's their brand. That's what they do. So until teams stop them, they're going to continue to do it. And what we're noticing now is that Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are doing a better job now of combating that two deep safety look versus the one safety look. And yes, they're not able to throw the ball down the field as much. However, what they've done now is they're like, you know what? Let's just stop with the deep ball. Let's just stop. Let's go strictly with whatever is there. You know, we're going to hand the ball off a few times. We're going to throw it to Travis Kelce over the middle. We're going to throw it to Tyreek Hill in 5 to 10 yards. That's what we're going to do. We're going to pick apart defenses because they're so worried about our deep ball that they're dropping back, and they got two safeties back there, that we're just going to take everything underneath the coverage and move down the field that way and score in the end. So now that they've decided to kind of shift their philosophy a little bit, you know, coming into now that we're at this point of the season, it's working out for them. And they're just, instead of going down with, well, like, you know, a 3-play drive because they hit a 60-yard bomb to Tyreek Hill, now it's just like they're methodically working down the field. They're getting 5 to 10 to 15 yards at a rip in the passing game. They're mixing in the run game, and that's how they're beating teams. And until a team changes up and becomes more aggressive to get after them, they're not going to change. And it's all working out for them. So that's why you're tending to see them kind of trend upward right now, and they're stealing games away from teams. They're just making the plays that need to be made, and that's why they are where they are right now, and they're trending upwards. As far as the Chargers go, and I'll also say this, I will give props to the Chiefs defense too for stepping up, because Steve Spagnuolo has now changed. He's no longer kind of taking a step back and saying, I'm just going to rush with my 4, and that's it. Now he's changed up. Now he's becoming more aggressive like he was when he was once with the Giants, and he's blitzing a lot more and putting other offenses on their heels. So kudos to Steve Spagnuolo and company. And then we go to the Chargers. And
I think that's with the defensive line alignment, too. They've been putting more of Chris Jones in the center, too, I think, and rushing him up the middle where they weren't even in the beginning. I think they're trying to spread him out in different areas, and where it's better when he's just driving that lane up.
Yeah, and that was attributed to the injuries that they had along the D-line was why they tried to move Chris Jones around. But now that they're a lot healthier, they're starting to get back to their old ways. And then for the Chargers, listen, they're a roller coaster. That's just what they are right now. And now it doesn't get any better because they got some bad injuries now right now. Mike Williams is going to be out with COVID. Joey Bosa got hurt last week. Looks like he's going to be missing quite a bit of time. So he's out. And Chris Harris also came down with COVID. So it looks like those two players, Mike Williams and Chris Harris, are going to miss this upcoming week, which are two critical players for this team. And on top of that, with Joey Bosa, their number 1 pass rusher, not going to be available for quite some time. This is going to really hurt this team. Listen, I love the Chargers offensive line, what they've done there with all the changes in the draft picks with Rashawn Slater and company. But, man, it just doesn't look good going forward. Now, basically, you have Keenan Allen, to throw to and not many other people. A lot of guys that are kind of young in their development. I don't know if that's going to be enough to keep this offense rolling. Austin Eckler, listen, he's the guy, for the Chargers. Without him, this offense doesn't really run. So this team looks like it's an uphill battle for them at this point. They're missing too many key pieces, and they might struggle down the stretch now, which in turn could just end up leading them right out of the playoff race.
Yeah. So again, like I said, they're a big question mark. I'm a hit and a miss with this team. I just can't get them. Justin Herbert looks really calm and collect, which I like. He can shrug off, turnovers here and there. But there's also times where he just hasn't looked like really into the game and not seeing things like you've seen him before. And you're kind of like, what are you doing? And he ended up ruining some of the games for them and not getting it done. And yeah, now when you have problems like that, Mike Williams being out, now you're kind of looking at this. I'm like, what weapons do I have? then you're kind of forced at looking at Austin Eckler and say, you got to be our guy. You got to be our type of Christian McCaffrey guy where we got to hand it to you, and then we got to get you involved in the passing game too as well.
He's already that part.
Guys. Oh, I know. And it's sad to say you got to try and rely on him more, and that's what you're faced with this team. So them, again, I picked them to be where they are in this division as it is right now. So everything is lining up where I thought before the season started. But again, after watching everything and the way things have played out, it's very up and down. And like you said, without having Joey Bosa this week, that's a really big part of them. So moving forward for them, it could get really sketchy down the run. A couple other things here. We just finish it up with the AFC. We got the Bengals and the Bills still here.
Bengals aren't looking too good because now Joe Burrow is probably going to be out for some time, and they're going to struggle down the stretch. They probably drop out of the playoff race.
And we already covered the Bills.
They're teetering. We don't know what direction they're going to go at this point. They keep falling. Let's see if they can kind of bounce back. But a surprise team, like we were both talking about, me and Jimmy thought about the Colts right now. The Colts are on the rise.
That is the team.
I mean, they got a lot of momentum. They got a healthy Carson Wentz. They got Jonathan Taylor, who is running rampant all over the NFL. No matter who is keying on him, he's getting the job done. I don't even know. I think he has some kind of a stat where like he averages over 130 yards every single week. I don't know for how long, but it's pretty incredible. He's able to do what he does, which in turn is helping Carson Wentz and the passing game out big time. And then we already know that the Colts defense feeds off of this offense. And now that this offense is back on track, this defense is getting better and better every single week. Watch out for the Colts, baby.
Yeah, I was just trying to look up their schedule quick. What the hell, dude? I can't find a damn.
And right now, it's at the right time they're turning it up a notch because this division isn't out of reach yet. I mean, who knows? The Titans could lose a couple of games, maybe 2-3 games down the stretch. And if the Colts go on a big run, maybe they win the division in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? The thing has been good for them. Yes, the running game, and you're able to use Jonathan Taylor the way you are, and that has helped Carson Wentz immensely because now you're not seeing as many turnovers like he had previously in this season.
No, because
and
not
things like that, the dumb
one-dimensional.
mistakes. Yeah, it makes it easier. They can get more balanced, and that's what you needed out of Carson Wentz, and that's the problem. When you talk about, when I brought it up earlier, about quarterbacks thinking that they need to do everything to get this team together, it's on my shoulders. You saw that in Philadelphia. The guy's scrambling all over the place. He's like, oh, trying to make a run here. I got to go for every last yard. I'm going to dive for it with the ball out here. I got to heave it out there and do that. No. And this is what the Colts have said. Hey, listen, we've got an offensive line here. We'll take care of you. We got a defense that can keep you on the sidelines and get some rest, and we can hold off that other team too as well, and things like that. We can keep you in the game so we can run the ball and wear out the other team as well. A more balanced type of approach, and with a familiar coach in Frank Reich that he knew well and how to get the most out of Carson Wentz, and that's what we're finally seeing out of the Colts here. And it's really special. And like I said, with the teams that are there, this Pittsburgh's got a little bit of a road here, and I don't see them jumping into this playoffs. Bengals, like you said, banged up with the injury with Joe Burrow. That's a big problem. And the Bills, they have the Bucs coming up next. So if they lose again, I mean, it doesn't get any easier for them moving forward. So we could totally see the Colts moving into this playoff picture and getting one of those last remaining spots. All right, now let's take a look. Oh, before we take a look at the NFC, Joe, why don't you tell everybody about our friends at Johnstone Supply quick? I'm feeling a little chill down here in my basement where we do the show.
A little cold?
It's a little cold. It's snowing outside today. It was only supposed to snow for a little bit earlier, but then it ended up being like all day, dude. At least it's not accumulating a lot, but it's cold.
Shocker. Winter's here, everybody.
How's winter over there, Tom Whiter? You guys got snow in Seattle there?
I wonder about that. How's that going on over there? And we already know Mike Tackett down in Florida.
Oh, he's loving it in Ocala.
He's perfectly okay. But hey, real quick, for the Northeast, for anywhere it's cold, does your furnace need to be replaced? Or are you looking to upgrade your heating system to stay warm? Johnstone Supply in Troy, New York, can make sure your home is ready to take on these colder months ahead. A family-owned and operated business, Johnstone Supply in Troy has been helping upstate New York residents for decades. Visit their store on 6th Avenue in Troy, New York, for more information on how they can help you this fall, whether it's finding the proper change for your filters or making sure your home is heated properly. Johnstone Supply and Troy staff can help you answer any questions you may have. From George to Tom and the rest of the staff, they are ready, willing, and able to help you guys out. You can go ahead and follow them on Facebook or call them today at 518-272-5922. That's 518-272-5922. Johnstone Supply in Troy, New York are here to keep you warm.
Yeah, absolutely. I might have to call them pretty soon. Check out everything for me. But, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, and check out Johnstone Supply. So the NFC.
Next.
Right now, the funny thing is about snow is for the mountains, Tom Leiter says. So there you go. So here we go. What's like the NFC is a different animal here. Patriots and stuff for the NFC, the AFC, those teams are like still anything can happen. That's a crazy bubble there. But when you look at the NFC, right?
Yeah.
The cream of the crop is just what they are. You've got the Cardinals at 10-2, the Packers 9-3, Bucks at 9-3, Cowboys still there at the lead of their division 8-4.
Boom.
Rams still, even after those couple game skids, they're still at 8-4.
They're still there. Yep.
But then after that, I mean, it's funny how bad the NFC is because, again, there's two other different NFC East teams that are in the hunt still.
That's right.
The NFC East, there's
Nobody's
two teams
out.
in the hunt.
Nobody's out.
Yeah, at 6-7 and 6-6, and it's terrible. Even the Falcons at 5-7
are still in the hunt.
They have 1 point possibly they could be in this. You know what I'm saying? That's what's funny about the NFC altogether. You have the highest highs and the lowest lows. But let's take a look at the Arizona Cardinals. You got to give them what the props for what they've done. Joe and I, we picked them to take the division before the season started. We saw something taking, this team stepping up. Kyler Murray, another year with them. The weapons that they had with the trades even that they've done. The defense, together healthy. Again, Chandler Jones coming back now healthy.
Offensive line improved.
Just looked amazing. And now they're showing you this is what it was. But then also the fact to lose your quarterback, Kyler Murray, and DeAndre Hopkins for like 3 weeks straight and still be able to keep the ship afloat. You lost one out of those 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, and Colt McCoy was a starter for 2 of them.
Yeah. So, I mean, they did really well, and they're showing you why they're right there at the top spot. And props to them moving forward with them, Joe. What about the Arizona Cardinals?
I mean, listen, we called it before the season even started. We saw how many changes that they made in the offseason, especially defensively. Like, they definitely helped out their offense a little bit more. They brought in A.J. Green, who, don't get me wrong, he's still kind of relevant. He's still getting some plays done. But the bigger part was improving that offensive line, improving dramatically that defense that had a lot of holes before the offseason got there at the end of last season, and just addressing them all. You know what I mean? They went out in free agency. They went out in the draft. They got the necessary personnel that they needed to become more competitive, to become more more of a challenge for everybody else in the NFC. And now they sit atop as the number 1 seed with only 2 losses this season so far. So pretty impressive turnaround for the Arizona Cardinals. We saw them kind of have, highs and lows last season. And now they just kind of capitalized and filled all those holes that were necessary for them to get to. And we're seeing the results of that right now. So Cardinals, I think that they're not going to stop now. They're just going to keep pushing forward until they got that number 1 seed locked down.
Absolutely. Tom Leiter says 3 teams from the NFC West will be in the playoffs, and Seattle won't be one of them.
Whoa.
That was another thing that we suggested before the season started, too, as well.
Prediction right there.
We had them at the bottom of the basement. Yep. We just saw, again, when you looked at the roster, we just looked at it. Depth chart, you're looking at it, and you're like, man, what have they really done?
I mean, they were
help Russell Wilson out really a lot.
And it's funny because you saw a lot of these like major networks talking up Seattle and saying, "Oh, well,
watch out for them.
They're gonna be competitive this year. They're gonna come back. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do that, and they could very well take the division." And I'm looking at it, I'm like, everybody seems to be so enamored with Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and saying like, "Oh, that's the team that's gonna carry them over the hump." But something that me and Jim were discussing when we were figuring these divisions out before the season started is like, what have they done defensively? It seems like they just keep getting a little older. Like, don't get me wrong. They got some underrated talent. They got some up-and-coming talent. But their go-to guys, like Bobby Wagner's getting older. He's an amazing middle linebacker. He still can play lights out. However, the secondary of that team, there really wasn't much to brag about.
Yeah, and they lost some players.
And we didn't see them kind of reach out and whether it be draft or free agency and bring someone in, bring a few guys in to kind of revamp that secondary, and not to mention the pass rush. They make a trade for Carlos Dunlap in hopes of that being enough to accelerate that pass rush to get that thing going, and it's just still not there. So we saw the defense struggling possibly, and then the offense still kind of staying the same as it was. Same as it ever was, and same as it ever was. And now we're seeing Seattle kind of struggle now down the stretch. And the craziest thing of all things is for Russell Wilson to be upset now and Pete Carroll pointing the finger at him and saying, well, you got to do better.
He says no defense backfield, and it says who has more tackles than Bobby? Nobody. And
yeah, he can still play.
He can still play, yeah. But, I mean, again, that's what it's kind of been. Yeah, exactly. When you saw these other defensive players exit this team and not having a whole lot there to where now Jamal Adams was your best, I think, at this point, defensive player besides Bobby Wagner. But, Bobby Wagner is getting older, like we said, but he's still playing at a decent level. But Jamal Adams had to be your heart and soul of this defense, but that's it at safety. And now he's done.
Gone. Yeah.
He's done. So now, basically, it's got to be put a fork in it. Somebody kill me! Yeah, that's what Seattle Seahawks fans got to be thinking right now, because it's you ain't got a defense now. So
Tom's a Seattle fan. He'll tell us.
He'll tell you right now. So yeah, I mean, but when you look at that and the Cardinals in that division, what Tom says, and the 2 first-round picks. Yep. See, there you go. Absolutely. So when you look at the Cardinals here, this is the thing, though. This week's matchup is going to be big because they have to face the Rams, which are right there in the playoffs too as well, sitting there in the 5th seed. So if they could get another win here, they could be 9-4, and then the Cardinals sitting there at 10-3 still have that division. But again, with coming up with a loss with them, it brings it a little bit closer here. But again, that Rams team, they're one of those teams again that I'm just kind of looking at, and I'm like, what am I getting? You see that the offensive line just get blown up sometimes, you know what I'm saying? And just getting Matthew Stafford pressured nonstop. And it seems like Sean McVay, again, if this is a guy that you're trying to
offensive mastermind,
offensive guru, and putting him next to Bill Belichick, why can't he make adjustments during a game? Why can't he make adjustments? I don't see it ever. It just seems like, well, here, like in the Super Bowl, this is the dumbest adjustment you want to make in a Super Bowl is saying, oh, well, I see it seems like they know what our play is all the time, so I'm going to run to the line like last second so then they can't make a change quick and just go with it, whatever I have, which just throw it out there. Oh, and then they just
don't make any changes.
Going at you. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And then again, he's like, oh, we got to make changes here. We got to do that. And you keep trying to throw even the deep ball all the time. You got to take what they give you. Look at what you've got. Look at the defense. Look at the game, the way it's playing out. Get some pressure off of your quarterback here because he can't do it on his own. And if he's dropping back, looking for a guy to get open when there's no time, he's going to be taking those hits and making those bad throws. And that's where you get your interceptions that turn into touchdowns because you're in the other team's, red zone area, so when they're easy pick sixes, it's an interception going into a touchdown given, or putting them up, at least if you don't get the interception for the touchdown, getting the turnover and putting them in great field position, and you're just giving them points. And that's where they lost those games because you gave them easy points to where your defense, no matter how good you might think they are and stuff, they could not get the team back into it after that.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Sean McVay is he's supposed to be this offensive mastermind. Belichick is the defensive mastermind. We already know he's just absolutely amazing. And not only is he a mastermind of the defense, he's also a phenomenal, one of the best coaches ever to be a head coach in the NFL. So that's saying that's not even comparable. Let's just say that. Sean McVay, he's got a long road to go to even be considered, in that realm. But that's the thing that's always been the deal with Sean is that everyone keeps pushing him to be like in that light of like, oh, he's one of the greatest offensive minds in the NFL right now. You cannot say that if his offense is struggling. And that's what's happening right now. They came out hot in the beginning of the season. Nobody could touch them. They were scoring at will. You know, they were just being able to throw it to Cooper Kupp, to Van Jefferson, to at the time, Robert Woods before his injury. And it's like nobody could do anything about it. They were just scoring at will. And then now that they got punched in the face a few times, they just can't seem to figure things out. And I'm really trying to understand, like, what is McVay trying to do? Is he trying to do too much with this offense and trying to go outside of what was working? You know, like Devery Henderson is a really good running back, and usually they go off the run, and that's where they get their play action plays and what have you, but it seems like they're trying to do too much, and when the running game's not working, McVay doesn't know what to do. Listen, just make it simple. Don't make it complicated. We all know McVay loved the whole jet sweep thing, but that's not going to work either. You got a guy in motion. It's a giveaway. Everybody knows you're going to do it. So you need to get back to just doing the small things. Just throwing a 5-yard to 10-yard pass. Methodically move down the football field. Get in the red zone. And then from there, just punch it in or get a play to where your tight end gets open or something in the end zone. So I guess what I'm saying is McVay needs to dial it back and just stop making everything so complicated. And I feel like that's why this team is struggling right now. They just can't figure things out for some reason because McVay is just trying to make everything more complicated than what it really is.
Yep. Now let's take a look at the Green Bay Packers, who are right there in the 2nd seed spot, who, again, has been just a solid team. And who would have known that just listening to Aaron Rodgers a little bit would have helped this team out and getting, Randall Cobb and some of those other players that, he wanted to come back here and try and make them happy. I mean, but
for
to be
year.
serious, they've been still doing a lot, and I think a lot of it is because of Aaron Rodgers and what they had.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
Yeah, because, again, what did they really change? Not really a whole lot even for that team, just, grabbed a couple pieces here and there. But after this year, they got a lot of questions. Like when we talked about it with the Aaron Rodgers, what's going to happen at the end of the season? I mean, they're in straight up rebuild mode unless there's something dramatically happens and they get some kind of superstar that wants to go play quarterback over there in Green Bay. I mean, it's kind of hard to find somebody that wants to go play in the frozen tundra. Just like, yeah, I'll take that. It depends on how much money you throw at them. But they've been playing tough, and still. After that first week, that blowout loss to the Saints, it looked kind of sketchy at first. You're kind of like, whoa, what are we getting out of this team? But been able to get it out there and make put a lot of points up there. And their defense still struggled at times and here and there, but doing enough to get them their wins. But solid in that 2nd spot, and I think that they're lucky that they're in the NFC at this point, though, because there's a lot of other teams that are just injury-laden in the NFC. And just not very good and in that rebuild mode at this point, too, as well, that if they happen to be in the AFC, we wouldn't even be talking about them being at the number 2 seed right now.
I mean, possibly. I mean, who knows? I mean, because the Packers, they're another team that kind of struggled early on. And then, Aaron Rodgers, started to click once again like he normally does. And this Packer team kind of went on a little bit of a run. And that's what kind of led them into the 2nd seed right now. But I think what has to happen going forward is this Green Bay defense has to improve. In order for them to get farther and deeper down the stretch, get closer to another Super Bowl, this defense has to improve at some point, some way, somehow. It can't be just all laid on Aaron Rodgers in this offense, because if that's the kind of, equation that they're going to go with, it's not going to work out in the playoffs. So they're going to make the playoffs, but then they might end up losing in the 1st round or 2nd round or whatever. So until this defense gets back on track and able to help out this offense, because we all know that they've suffered a lot of, or I should say, a few big-time injuries. Jair Alexander, their starting corner, he's been out for quite some time. I'm not really sure if he's going to even come back in time for playoffs or whatnot. Another thing is the defensive line is starting to not get as much pressure as it once was. And I feel like this could be a big problem for them if they're, as we get closer to the playoffs. that team's got to find some way to get some momentum, as they get closer into this playoff run, and that's going to give them the best chance for them to push forward.
Absolutely. So the Bucs are up next here too. I don't know if we really need to touch on them that much. I mean, the Bucs are the Bucs. I think they have a good chance to make a run still. They've got Tom Brady.
They have the same guys. I mean, that's the thing. They're Super Bowl champions. They have pretty much all the same players. However, their defense is healthy, but now their offense is nicked up. No Antonio Brown right now with his fake vaccination card and stuff. So he's out, I don't know for how long, but maybe a few weeks until he comes back. Mike Evans has been dealing with a back issue. Don't know how much that's going to, hurt him down the stretch. And then Chris Godwin. You could have had him on your segment too. Chris Godwin's kind of disappeared.
I think I focused on quarterbacks a little too much.
Until they, you definitely do. Until they get back into the swing of things, when they get a little bit healthier on offense, you're not going to see that full explosion that we're normal to see.
Yeah. Now, if you look at the Cowboys here, now this is an interesting, I think, spot.
Fraud.
They're sitting there at the fourth spot here, and they don't look very good still. I mean, I watched that last game against the Saints, and the Saints had every opportunity to win that game. And I think the offensive line were just getting beat by, the Saints' defensive line. I think they were getting pressure in there, and Dak Prescott was feeling the pressure, not being able to get the ball out there. Yes, some of his receivers made some big plays, especially that Michael Gallup touchdown in the corner. That was pretty amazing. And I think that wide receiver screen that CeeDee Lamb did where he broke the ankles of Malcolm Jenkins, where he's still there. And it's funny, you see him, he gets juked and falls, but then he turns around and just watches the rest of the play happen. Not even kind of go after him. Just, nothing. But
no effort.
A couple of those big plays, but besides that, the Cowboys didn't really look very good. They took the opportunities that were given to them on just bad quarterback play by Taysom Hill. And if you're trying to say you're a dominant NFC team that's going to make a Super Bowl run here, it doesn't look very good. And when you look at that spot where they are in the NFC East, like I said, there's a few teams that are still in the running. They play Washington football team, who is kind of red hot for them right now, twice. So right now, if you look at Washington's schedule, they've got the Cowboys, then the Eagles, and then the Cowboys. And for me, those are all winnable games. So if, say, the Washington football team wins all three of those, they're 9-7 or 9-8 right there. So that would put it in there for them. That would leapfrog them, maybe potentially past the Cowboys, or at least jump them up a seed where they're in the playoffs still. The Cowboys would have to win one of those two. And I'm not sure the way it's looking right now for them, the way Taylor Heineke's been playing, because even though he is still young and makes mistakes here and there, he's able to get out of, escape the pocket and things like that when pressure gets on him. And I don't think he's going to make as many bonehead mistakes as somebody like Taysom Hill would have made.
Definitely not.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's got some great weapons out there, too. Unfortunately, he just lost Logan Thomas again. But still, they've been able to make some things happen. So I think that's an interesting part of this whole piece of this playoff picture, looking at the NFC East, at least with Washington and Philadelphia playing better right now, and Cowboys kind of just what they do, I think, at the end of the season here. They kind of just skate through. And I think that's why they end up having that problem when it gets to playoff time, because they don't have, like what everybody says, you need to be playing their best football right now moving through. And it seems like the Cowboys start off hot and they get the hype train going. And then they kind of, the last couple of weeks, they kind of skim their way through. And a lot of times they lose the NFC East division title, and they'll drop and then become a wild card team. Let's see if they have that type of skid here. But right now, I think they need to play a little bit better.
There's two things that I'll say about the Cowboys. Now that we're at this point of the season, in order for them to kind of take hold of this division and run with it, they got to do a couple of things. Give the ball to Tony Pollard. It's that simple.
I think that too as
Not
well.
Zeke.
Yeah.
Zeke, it just doesn't have it anymore. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a different way that they're running the ball. I don't know what the heck it is, but Tony Pollard fits any system, and Pollard is the more explosive back right now. So get the ball in his hands on offense, and on defense, keep Micah Parsons opposite DeMarcus Lawrence. That's it. You keep Micah Parsons at the end. Do not put him at linebacker. He can't cover anyway. Keep him aggressive on the D end opposite DeMarcus Lawrence now that they got him back last week, and keep that pass rush going and just play off of the rush. If the Cowboys can get back to that where they were rushing teams to throw the football, to get rid of the football quicker, in terms of like that's why the opportunistic Trayvon Diggs would take over, and they would just kind of throw the ball up because they were getting rushed, and he would just there. And he would just come over and pick. That's what they got to get back to: aggressive football on defense, and on offense, give the ball to Tony Pollard, and then distribute the ball to CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup. So there you go. There's the blueprint, Cowboys, to win. If you don't do what I say, you're going to lose and miss out on the playoffs.
Yeah, if you look at even the rest of them here, I failed even to look at even for Washington again. They've got the Eagles and then the Giants again. So they have all of the NFC East here. So this NFC East is going to be kind of funny here in these last couple of weeks.
Right, in a couple of those teams, like the Giants,
they're all playing each other. Giants are out of it.
I know, but the Giants could play spoiler. You know
for some
what I mean?
of them, they could play like the way the Eagles did last year and like foiled everything for them. Like they could lose on purpose.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious. Like if the Cowboys, if it comes down to the Cowboys or the Eagles or Washington football team and New York Giants are playing Washington.
Right.
I'm starting that new guy that they just picked up or whatever, Lemke or whatever his name is. Not even Fromm, even Jake Fromm. Let's throw him out there. Whatever. Let's just keep Daniel Jones out. This whole rest of the year. Let's throw him in there.
Hilarious. Jake Fromm comes in and wins the game.
That would be terrible, right? But take that, Eagles. Screw you. But Tom Leiter, he says blasphemy out there. I'm sure he's standing up for the Cowboys there. But I don't know. I see this all the time. Tom knows when he watches his team, his favorite team that plays in that division, the NFC West. He knows those teams. He sees them. He knows his rival. He hates his rival, and he knows why. You see these things happen. And, I mean, yes, I don't like the Cowboys and stuff, but I'll give them props when they deserve some props. And I like some of the plays that even they made last week. But, again, I'm just watching it, and I'm like, you guys, with what you guys have, I think you could do better than what you're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, you could do better, and you just can't. You're not doing it. But after you take a look at those, it drops off again. You're talking 49ers.
How about them Niners coming back now? They're back in there.
Yeah, they're back in there after suffering that loss where they should have had that win last week. I was watching that game again. I was watching it because I needed that game to try and get a game back up on you here, Joe. And I was like, please, they got the win. They've got this. I think it was like 17-7 at one point. Dude, I'm like, yeah, all right, we got it. And then nothing. And then after that, again, it's a lot of teams that are sitting here
that are right there
with 5-7. Three teams 5-7. You've got the Vikings, the Carolina Panthers, and the Falcons. Which, again, I'm not sure what their identity is. Even Falcons, it's like, all right, you got to use Cordarrelle Patterson. When was the last time you heard that name? Like, wait, rely on Cordarrelle Patterson.
Here's the funny thing about this right now. These besides the Panthers, because they were like hot early on when Sam Darnold was healthy and was a starter, but all these teams, they're quietly 5-7. Like if you were to guess, you didn't know the record at all, and you were to guess what the record was, you always think that the Vikings have been losing. You would always think the Falcons are definitely out of it, and they just lost a lot of games. You know what I mean? So for that to show up and say, oh, they're 5-7, I'm like, wow, they're almost 500? Are you kidding me? Like, I would have never expected that at this point. I would have thought that by now the Falcons would have been out of it, the Panthers would have been out of it, the Vikings would have been out of it, but
that's just how
right
tight
there
with everything and how bad this division is. I think not even just this conference, but I think it's a lot of injuries too. If you look at a lot of these teams that injuries
play
have plagued a lot of these teams.
Injuries play a part. For sure.
But yeah, a lot of them, too, you don't even know their identity at this point. Like Carolina Panthers, what do they really got going on for them? You know what I mean?
Well, they don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, that's the problem.
Right? So
the funny thing is they fired Joe Brady.
Yeah.
The offensive coordinator. Like, oh, it's your fault.
Yeah. That's where you start dropping the hammer.
We don't have a starting quarterback. We picked up Cam Newton off the free agent heap. You couldn't win?
Yeah.
What's the matter with you?
Yeah.
You're out of here.
Yeah, absolutely. Lady Bills is in the house with us tonight.
Welcome to the show, Lady Bills.
Guys, lost to Seattle. See, that's what Tom Leiter's saying. They lost to Seattle, who's just bad. It's like, oh, how could you guys do this? But, yes, I mean, I understand, too, with the injuries that they have with the running back situation with the 49ers, but still, I think the way this offense is designed, I think they could throw anybody kind of back there at this point and still get the running game going. It's just, yeah, this is why we're having that talk about Jimmy G again. Mm-hmm. You don't have that quarterback that can elevate you when the times are tough and when it's down with even those weapons that they have. And that's why you are where you are, I think, at this point. And she says, hi, Tom Leiter out there. Tom Leiter says, defense wins championships. Look at the NFC and the defensive lines. There you go. I never go without DJ Horn on that one. Yeah, I mean, and again, that's what you're seeing, too, with some of these guys. But also, we just talked about the Packers, who are up there as a 2 seed in the NFC, but their defense is not really the best out there. You know, they're struggling. I mean, I like Darnell Savage out there and stuff, but Rashad Gary, I think, has played better than what we thought when I think he was going to enter the league. I thought
they moved his
position.
Going
to be a bit of a bust, but yeah,
they had him lose a lot of weight. They moved him from DN to linebacker, and now they use him as a pass rusher off the edge, which, kudos to Green Bay. I mean, they thought outside the box with him, and he's developing into a nice pass rusher.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, I mean, that's where it gets dicey. Like I said, this NFC East is going to be tough to watch here, but it's going to be interesting. That's going to be some of these other slots. But overall, I think – I think you know who the teams are going to be coming out of the NFC. I think the most interesting part is the AFC because that is shuffling week to week and who's up and in there. So that's the interesting spot and who's going to be coming out of there.
I like it is as much as like you can see more of a separation, if you will, for NFC. Mm-hmm. It's still close. Anything can happen. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's quite a few games left where one team could go on a losing streak, another team could ascend and get on a winning streak, and that completely changes everything. So, and the AFC is like as tight could be. You can't even breathe in the AFC. So that is going to be interesting all in itself down the stretch to see who finally gets in and who is left out in the cold.
AFC is scary, Lady Bill says. Tom Leiter replying, even though he's replying to her, I'm going to say it anyways because I'm wondering now, too. He goes, I hope your raffle made a difference. Yes, Lady Bills, how did the raffle go? How did everything go? How much money did you raise? I mean, and shout for a cause. That's what it was, and she runs that. I mean, that is amazing. I know that happened during the Patriots and Bills game. Unfortunate for her, the Bills end up losing that game, but a great cause that she was backing behind raised $1,070. Absolutely. Nice. That's awesome. That's good to hear. We love it when people donate money for things like that to help each other out. We're all about that and about charities too as well. So keep on working together and helping each other out. Sold all of their tickets. There you go.
Nice.
How are things also on the coloring book too? I want to find out what's going on with that too as well because I want to help you guys out with that as well. But real quick, I'm going to tell you guys about my friends Colorize here, one of our big sponsors too as well. You notice we've been getting a lot of sponsors this year. I know some of these guys that have been with us for years now, know that we've been working hard at this for 4 years. And some of the new guys out there are like, what the hell's up with all these commercials Reeds are doing? But it's because, they want to be part of this family too as well. And I love being a part of the Colorize family because I'm a professional painter. I like going to a place that knows what I'm talking about. They don't, not Joe Schmo, like you go to Home Depot and all those guys. Yeah, some different guys running the paint shop. They're like, here, I need this color. They're like, yeah, I don't know. I mixed this color together. I don't know what I'm doing. Look close. Yeah, okay. All right, Colorize. They got 3 different locations. One's in Clifton Park, Niskayuna, and then Queensbury. Talk to my man Link up there in Queensbury. He'll get you up and running with your color matches all you want. And also I went to the one in Niskayuna. That's a great looking shop too there. And I talked to my buddy Brett. They serve everyone from the paint professional like yourself, like myself here, and then also the do-it-yourselfer out there. You guys is trying to fix some stuff around your house. If you don't know a whole lot, go to them. They know what they're talking about. They're going to hook you up. The right paint, the right color from advice from the right professionals, the local professionals out there taking care of you. It's Colorize, and go to mycolorize.com to learn more about them. So there you go. Joe, the competition's getting pretty deep pretty quick, but you know what? Before we get to the picks competition, I've got my milk carton missing player of the week. And I know, you said it.
You guys could probably guess this one.
I got a thing for quarterbacks, but I had to do it. It's Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy B.
Again, he's not expected to do a whole lot here and there ever with quarterback play. I know it's only Teddy Bridgewater, but come on, dude. You had an opportunity to get a win here with these guys, and you go 22 for 40, 257 yards. Sure, you throw a touchdown and then 2 picks, though, and you guys couldn't muster up anything. A rating of 62.2. Terrible. Teddy Bridgewater, you looked like gas. And you're my milk carton missing player of the week. Like you said, it could have been Chris Godwin, too. I should probably look a little deeper than quarterbacks.
I will say this. Teddy Bridgewater had no time.
Yeah, that's true, too.
The Chiefs' defense was in the backfield most of the game. They didn't have even when they tried to run the ball, there wasn't too much success there. They became one-dimensional. As soon as they got behind, they felt the pressure of just becoming one-dimensional and throwing the football, and it didn't work out for Teddy B. I feel bad for him in a sense because, I mean, what did you expect this guy to do? Nothing was going right. Nothing at all for the Broncos.
I think that's why you see even when he's talking to Drew Lock on the sidelines, too, they're looking at each other and they're smiling and they're like, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, I see that too, man. I'm glad it's just you out there, not me.
My thing is, where was the Broncos' defense against the Chiefs? I mean, as much as everyone says, the Broncos have one of the best defenses, they're going to be amazing this year. I'm not seeing it. They've shown spurts against weaker opponents, but they haven't really done anything to clamp down like a Chiefs offense or anybody else for that matter. So, wow, I'm just amazed about the overall, the overall play.
Tom
by the
says
Broncos.
They traded Von, but again, it looked like even they got better at that point. Von
Miller,
that's a funny thing.
Did you see Von Miller play for the Rams? I haven't heard from him. Where is he? He's not making a dramatic impact on the Rams right now.
But also, you get your, Jerry Jeudy's been back, you know what I mean? And you got Cortland Sutton there still.
You got
Noah Fant. I mean, you could be getting something
back,
together.
right.
Yeah, I mean, even the running back situation is
But
decent.
terrible, let's just say what it is. Terrible blocking up front for the Broncos, not giving Teddy Bridgewater hardly any time, and the defense lacking.
All right, she says NFL team copyright is a pain in my tuchus. We're hoping the coloring book will be out end of February. So there you go, a little after the Super Bowl.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm excited to check it out, and I know what you're talking about. It's tough getting around that red tape and stuff. All right, now let's get to our competition. Here it is, Joe. There is the standings right now. It is still close. It's close. And it was funny is because I was looking through my book here of last year's and stuff, and I already had you about like 20 picks, I think, at this point last year.
I went on a lot of limbs.
Different story this year. You are on point this year, and it is tough. My NFL picks weekly is just stressful. It's just crazy, but it is good. I love it. I love the competition, Joe.
I will say this. This year, unlike the last few seasons we've done this, I like taking like the long shots.
Right.
You know what I mean? This year I was like, I'm going to be a little bit more conservative this year and just pick, what I truly think.
Some of these have been tough though, too, because that's what I mean. I mean, when we just saw like Minnesota lose to the Lions and stuff like that, we've seen some crazy upsets too. And
I want to know out there, did anybody pick the Lions to win last week? I'm just curious.
Did Mike Tackett? I can't remember.
I
know he had some other picks. By the way, bring up Mike Tackett's here because I don't think I have him in the restream box all the way down. So play along with us. Guys, pick your picks out there too as well. This is a lot of fun. Let's have some fun out here. Thursday night's game, Pittsburgh and Minnesota. If Minnesota had Darisaw and then even Adam Thielen back in this game, I would maybe go with Minnesota in this one because at home. But I think I might slide towards Pittsburgh on this one. What do you think, Joe?
This is a tough one.
It is tough
because
I was
I'll tell you right now.
Like, Minnesota, this seems nice, but I don't know.
And this is the weird thing. It's like Pittsburgh's offense spits and sputters. Here's the bottom line. Najee Harris, if he's able to run, then it's going to be a tough little battle for the Vikings. But if the Vikings can kind of make them one-dimensional and force Big Ben to throw the ball and pin their ears back and get after Big Ben, I feel like Pittsburgh is definitely going to majorly struggle. Also, Pittsburgh's defense is not the healthiest defense. They just got Minkah Fitzpatrick back, which is a huge godsend for them on the back end of that secondary. But by no means do I think this is going to be an easy game for either team. Minnesota, I still don't know what to expect from them. You just lost to a winless team in the Detroit Lions last week, and I don't know to this day what they are.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know what their identity is.
Well, their
Kirk
identity
Cousins,
is if Dalvin Cook's out there, they're a whole different team, and he's been injured.
Well, I'll say this: Alexander Madison lit it up last week.
That's true too.
So
he's been playing well.
He had
too.
over 120 rushing yards last week.
times.
Had a touchdown.
Yeah.
He did a really good job. So you can't even say that.
Yeah.
I would say this: I think Minnesota's defense is kind of up and down. And that's really why. Kirk Cousins is actually having a pretty decent year this season for Minnesota. And, I really think it hinges on whether the defense for Minnesota wakes up and comes to life.
This is how
or not.
tight this game is. Tom Leiter says the Vikings, and then Lady Bill says Steelers, and then Tom again says they both lose.
I like it.
There you go.
Right.
They're both lose then. Maybe
I'm
again
gonna go,
Pittsburgh have another time. Who are you
because
going
it can
with?
go either way. I'm going to go with Minnesota at
He's
home.
going to go with Minnesota. See, I was leaning Minnesota, but again, I'm looking at that injury list, and I don't know. I might
Mike
go
Tackett goes with the Steelers.
He goes with the Steelers. No, he goes with the Vikings, he said. Lady Bills and Steelers.
On here, Mike Tackett's got the Steelers.
Oh, Mike Tackett. Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking Tom Leiter. My bad. He said Steelers, huh? All right, so I might change then because Mike Tackett hasn't been picking very well. So I'm kidding. Sorry, Mike. All right, here we go. Now Baltimore Ravens and Cleveland Browns. This is going to be tough to watch. I think this game again too because it is the way these teams have been. They've been just offenses have been just spitting and sputtering. Baker Mayfield's playing with bionic limbs. He should just take the rest of the season off, rest up, ice up. Just get the hell out of there, man. But again, Nick Chubb, this has been the body and soul of this team. But then when he's out and he's banged up, they got a hard time. At this point, I'm saying start Case Keenum. I think they even looked better the last time he started. They looked better than they have the last couple of weeks. Tom Leiter says,
I agree with that.
See, this is the way it is too. Paul Matty says Ravens, and then Tom Leiter says Chubb runs away with it. They go. Lady Brill says Browns. Baltimore Ravens, again, like you said, their defense has been struggling. It seems like, again, they can't get that running game going, and Lamar Jackson is just all like drop back and throw it all. So what do you got in this one, Joe? You going with the Cleveland Browns or the Baltimore Ravens?
The Ravens are a little bit beat up now. I mean, we've seen them struggle up to this point, and now they're getting beaten up. They're losing guys. Guys are dropping like flies now on the Baltimore Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
No more Marlon Humphrey. Their number one corner.
He's not going to 18th in defense.
He's not going to be available.
Mm-hmm.
This team is kind of like a wounded duck right now. They're limping into Cleveland this week, and I like the odds with Cleveland. I don't like what Baltimore's got to offer right now, especially with all these injuries. And the Browns, they're not the best on offense with Baker, but they're making it work as they go. You know what I mean? Now that they have Nick Chubb back, Kareem Hunt is back, they're able to get back on track and utilize both backs with this offense with Jarvis Landry and the rest of the gang. I like the Cleveland Browns defense too better. Myles Garrett coming off the edge. And one little thing to note is that for the Ravens, the one positive thing is Juwan James, who they got in a trade before the trade deadline, he is due to come off IR right now. So maybe they get some relief in the tackle department for the Ravens this week, but I don't think it's going to be enough to make a difference. I got Cleveland.
I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns as well on this one again, just for the same things that you had said. Again, overall defense is better. They've had that bye week to rest up, so maybe they come out fresh off the bye with a better-looking offense. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Tennessee Titans here, Joe. Titans coming fresh off of a bye too as well. But again, not having some of their key players here in this game too. Jacksonville, though, still they are facing struggles on the weekly. I still think Urban Meyer, I think he's trending towards it's going to be one and done for this guy here. So
that's
I
what
think
it looks like.
Coming out of this bye week, it's a great reset again to face a team like this to where, again, the quarterback, he's a rookie, still going through the learning curves. They're lacking weapons, just not overall good team. So I like the Tennessee Titans in this one. Not really going to waste a whole lot of breath on that one. I think everybody else is lighting it up down there too. Tennessee.
Tennessee.
So what do you think?
Tennessee. Let's just round it out there.
There you go. He's going to round it out. There you go.
Tennessee Titans, coming off a bye week, they're going to be well rested. They're going to be a little bit healthier. They're going to be ready, definitely game plan wise. So I expect the Titans to go in and do what they got to do and get that win against Jacksonville.
Watch this be the upset. Watch Jacksonville win, and we all pick Titans.
That's what we said last week about Detroit.
Right?
You know, we said, we were joking around. We're like, watch Detroit beat Minnesota, and sure enough, it happened.
Yeah, that's a little more believable. But
could not believe it.
All right, here we go. The Las Vegas Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs. First week that they met up and stuff, it was a really decent, close game. It was really hyped up and stuff. Kansas City didn't look like themselves. Now it looks like they're really hitting their stride. And the Vegas Raiders looks like they're just, up and down. At times, it looks like they can, really put on the points and play well, but then other times there's not, and they just went through, I think, what was it, the NFC teams, the NFC East, and lost 2 out of 3. They beat the Cowboys, but then they lost to the Giants and the Washington football team. Tom Lander says Raiders, Paul Matty Chiefs. And I'm going to go with the Chiefs here at home as well. I think the Raiders, again, are struggling. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
I don't think they're struggling. I think it's their coaching staff. It's that simple. Their offensive coordinator is not aggressive enough, not calling aggressive plays, giving basically just hand the keys over to Derek Carr. Let him run the offense, because until you do so, and here's the craziest thing is that Derek Carr, when he throws 300 yards or more passing, they win. They're undefeated this year. So when he throws under 300 yards, they lose. So what do? I don't know. Gee, it's not rocket science here. Have Derek Carr throw the ball, open up this offense, and until they do, they're going to continue to struggle. And another thing for the Raiders is that defensively, Gus Bradley's not stepping up to the plate either. He's just allowing these soft zone coverages for teams to take over, and it's absolutely ridiculous. So going into Kansas City, a really hard place to play, and the Raiders have been for several years been struggling to go against Kansas City, except for last season. But I got Kansas City at home until the coaching staff does something differently. Expect the same.
Oh, there you go. And Tom Later says Joe picks the Raiders. Shocker. He's not. He's going with the Chiefs. You'd be surprised how many times he picks against.
You'd be surprised how many times I pick against my team.
I pick against my team every week. How about that? That's what kind of problem I have. You know what I mean? I just have no confidence at all in them. So I'm just like, lose. They're going to lose. All right, so here we go. The New Orleans Saints and the New York Jets. Yes, New Orleans looked bad with Taysom Hill turning the ball over. Was that 3 or 4 times? I can't even remember how many times it happened so often. But the Jets, again, couldn't really get it done against the Philadelphia Eagles, who had Gardner Minshew. And yes, Gardner Minshew, though, I think is still a pretty good quarterback in this league, despite being a backup at this point. Just the Jets aren't really a good team, especially defensively, whereas Robert Saleh, being a defensive-minded coach, you would think that he would be able to get this team going in the right direction, but they're still not. Still have no identity as well, so I'm going to go with the Saints on this one. They bounce back, and they stay in that playoff hunt, Joe, at 6-7. Here we go.
Jets, Saints, game of the week. Watch out.
They got to move it up to the 8 o'clock game, Joe. They got to stub that in.
But
Paul Matty with the upset. Here he goes. He says the Jets going to pull it off.
What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, if the Jets pull off that upset, that is going to be amazing too. But really, that's surprising though too. Sometimes I'd say because if Taysom Hill really does play that bad, but I don't know that. I think that Saints defense is so much better than the Jets defense though, and I think they're really going to put pressure on that Jets offense because I don't think their offense is very good. So that's a big decider for them.
Jets are still in that rebuild mode. They still don't have they're all their ducks in a row yet. Offensive line still needs to be revamped. They lost Corey Davis for the season. There's not enough going on in a positive realm for the Jets. The Saints, they're going to come marching into New York, and I feel like they're going to just steal this win.
I like that.
Taysom Hill or not at quarterback.
Yeah. Or not. It could be Trevor Siemian. Who knows, right?
I think if they're smart, they go back to Trevor.
Yeah. And still use, Taysom Hill back and forth, as that gadget guy. All right, Lady Bill says Jets offense ranks higher than the Saints.
Yeah, but the Jets
at this point,
Jets offense.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say there too. Tom Whiter, that's an X factor that didn't have last week. Alvin Kamara is going to be able to play this week. So
and the crazy thing is, if they have Trevor Siemian in last week, they win the game.
Yeah, I think so.
Easily, because he wouldn't have turned the ball over.
Yeah, exactly, he doesn't make those turnovers.
Now you got Alvin Kamara. I mean, there's a lot. Sean Payton got to get a little bit more creative now. You got Taysom Hill. You got Kamara coming back. Come on.
Yep, absolutely. He was grasping at a lot of straws last week. You can see him complain a lot about like calls with the referees. You talk about referee calls. He just complains a lot.
Not to mention, I mean, the other part of the equation is that the Saints defense is a pretty good defense.
Yeah.
So you got that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And here we go. We got the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington football team. Washington at home. They've been playing a lot better. Dallas again. Like to me, they've got the weapons. They got everything to get it done. All the telltale signs said that Dallas should take this game, but the Washington football team is playing hard, and they're really getting behind this Taylor Heineke thing and building this legend up bigger than it was. Did you go, before we get to this game, did you go back through Mike Tackett's picks? I'm sorry about that.
I can't go back that far.
You can't go back that far. We can't go back. We can't turn back time. And
Mike Tackett, you're going to have to post that again.
Damn it. All right, and I'm on YouTube over here. But, all right, so who do you got in this one then, Joe? The Dallas Cowboys or the Washington football team?
I got the Dallas Cowboys in this one. I think that Washington, they've been able to escape quite a few games. And I think that this team, now that Dallas Cowboys are a lot healthier than they were, they got DeMarcus Lawrence back. They got Parsons rushing off the edge. I just like that pass rush to go up against Washington, which, quite honestly, they're missing guys too. And now that they don't have Logan Thomas, which was a safety target for Taylor Heineke, I think that's going to be a problem for them. I think Dallas is going to key on. Obviously, you're going to have to key on Antonio Gibson and stop the run and make them one-dimensional. And in turn, I think Dallas is going to feed off that, and their offense is going to score points, and they're going to hold them down low.
See, Paul Matty, I think he's been picking everything different than what we pick. He's going with Washington football team.
Maybe he's
Tom
got to catch
Leiter
up.
says Dak completes 20 10-yard passes. He's going with Dallas. Like you were saying earlier, too, as well, you see the difference when you get DeMarcus Lawrence in this game. That's the one thing I got to say about that game last week. I mean, the offense I thought was just not very good. They could have been better. But that defense, really putting the pressure, and you see the difference with being able to have DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons there, too, getting play. It was kind of funny when
as long as they keep him at the end.
Right, and when they picked player of the game at the end of the year, they're like, oh, Micah Parsons. I'm like, that could have went to somebody else even, too, because a lot of those other guys, the big men in there, making plays. So how about that interception Taysom Hill threw right to the defensive lineman there, right to him. Like, threw it right at him. He just jumps and just catches it straight up. So I think some of those guys could have been player of the games because I think it was the same player. I can't think of his name right now at this point, but had made a tipped pass as well. There's like 2 consecutive tipped passes that were made against Taysom Hill, and then the second one turned into a legit interception, and it was all history. So I think some of those other guys could have been player of the game. But you see the difference of having that guy and DeMarcus Lawrence back in on the defense, and that was good. And I'm going with Dallas here too as well. All right, the Atlanta Falcons and the Carolina Panthers. Oh, this is another snooze fest for me here. This is freaking terrible.
It's getting worse.
Man, who's going to start a quarterback for Carolina? Are they going to put in
Cam Newton?
Cam Newton again? Jesus Christ. This is going to be tough.
They said that as of Tuesday.
Man, really? Oh, man. I want to say Carolina because I think their defense is better than Atlanta's, but you know what? F it. I might go with the Atlanta Falcons here in this one.
Good choice.
I'm going to go with the Falcons on this one.
Good choice.
There you go. What are you doing, Joe? What are you doing? Anybody else out there? Help me out.
I
Tom Leonard, Newton is starting. There you go. He's helping me out. But Paul Matty says the Falcons. All right, I'm changing to the Carolina Panthers here because he says the Falcons. No, I'm joking. I'm joking, Paul.
But
maybe we'll be right here on this one. We're going to go, Tom. They both lose on this one. There you go. That's hilarious. I love it.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Tom's got a unique name for the Falcons.
Yes.
The Falcons.
Oh, that's real. Hey, there's a lady in the room, okay?
She's a big girl. She can handle it.
I know, still. Oh, man.
I'm sure she's heard worse.
Yeah. All right, he's going with the Falcons. There you go.
But yeah, I mean,
maybe they both can lose. Maybe they both tie.
I like the Panthers' defense a lot. Just like you were saying, like I like them better than the Falcons' defense. However, what's interesting, is the fact that Atlanta's offense is getting better. You know what I mean? Early on this season, they were struggling big time. They couldn't get anything working. They couldn't score points. And now we're starting to see them kind of come into their own. They're starting to get an offensive identity right now with Kyle Pitts at tight end, with utilizing Cordell Patterson better than anybody else has ever used them. And it's working. So, I mean, I'm going to go Atlanta, too. I like that one.
Impossible.
There you go. Nothing is impossible. Maybe Atlanta can go. I got to change a couple of these picks at one point here to try and get some of these games back on you. But I got a few weeks to go, Joe, and I'm only down by 3. So
there's still plenty of time.
There's plenty of time here. If this is close, it's going right up to the Super Bowl maybe. So this is going to be really exciting. By the way, if you guys didn't know, our competition is this. If you can't see, this is a football-shaped bottle here that we fill up with liquor. Mostly I've been filling it up to here with you with some vodka or whatever, and then the rest is juice. And it's a fun time, like right after the Super Bowl. So you guys definitely check out that
Tune
episode.
in.
That's coming up. And our Christmas show is coming up in a few weeks. So check out our Christmas show. That's a lot of fun too. All right, but here we go. The Seattle Seahawks and the Houston Texans. Man, there's a lot of just crap games this week.
I guess
Man,
so.
should I just DVR a lot of these games and just watch the highlights even later or something like that?
I wouldn't even
DVR it. Yeah, waste up space on my DVR. Maybe I'll just watch Berman in the fastest through minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever he calls it. Seattle and Houston. Man, I have to go with Seattle still on this one just because they have Russell Wilson and Carolina doesn't. And even though Tyrod Taylor looked good in that one game, and then I was starting to believe in them, and then they fail again. Like, what the hell is that? Just last week, they just fall flat on their ass when you thought it was a totally winnable game.
So
the one surprised me, and then the one winnable game, this is when they fall on their face. I just don't get it.
I hear you.
Lady Bill says Seattle. Paul Matty says Seattle.
Yeah.
Then the Seattle fan, I think, says Houston plays spoiler.
Yeah, Tom Leiter said it. Here's the thing. And for one of the worst run organizations in Houston Texans, they just cut one of their starting linebackers today.
Yeah.
Zach Cunningham is no longer a Houston Texan.
No longer
so
gone.
They just keep getting rid of their personnel. And how do you expect to win? So, yeah, I'm going to go Seattle, too. Despite not having Adams, I'm going Seattle on this one.
You're ugly. You're disgusting. I'm going to kill you. Give me $200.
There you go. Yeah, you should give it $200, Houston. Absolutely. All right, here we go. A lot of stuff lighting up here. Tom Leiter, every time I bet against Seattle, they win. So there you go. That's the way I look at it sometimes.
Yeah, I get that.
That's the way it is for me with the Bengals and the Chargers. We were just talking about Minnesota.
Yeah.
Every time it seems like I pick them, they lose.
They go the opposite.
And then I'll pick them to lose, and then they win. It just they like to spite me.
You should
like
bet
to
them.
piss me off.
You should bet them. So, like, if you pick them to lose, you should bet them to win.
Well, I should be one of those guys that does like the double up when I go to I don't even know how to bet really. I don't gamble that much, but if I go to like the casino, if I go to Rivers Casino, maybe I should put money on both somehow, and then somehow I'll still make some money off of the deals somehow. So I know there's no Jamal Adams, and I said I'm writing them off here, but can you get that much worse than Houston though? I don't know. We'll see this week, I guess, Tom. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. We'll definitely get an
it's
indicator.
Getting bad for them, but if they can't beat Houston here, though, then it's really, truly bad for you guys. And Russell Wilson, I think, is definitely gone then. It's over. All right, here we go. Detroit Lions, fresh off of a win. And the Denver Broncos here. Man,
it's a great
another
game.
Stinker. Shit, man.
Better parlay.
Yeah, I mean, Detroit, they're riding high off their win and stuff, but I don't know. I still like Denver, the way they play even at home. I'm not going to do a whole lot of analysis in this one. I like the Denver Broncos in this one.
I don't like either team. They both
I know.
lose.
They both
Thanks
lose again.
Tom
We should
Leiter.
just go. Let's start that as a hashtag or something. They
both
both
hashtag
they
Tom.
both lose. Oh, man. Absolutely.
Hashtag both
Don't be
lose.
rude.
Tom.
There you go. Bet a parlay. See, and I don't even know what that means, though, Tom. So, I don't know what everybody. I hear that name getting bounced around. Parlay. I don't know what that means. So, if you want to fill me in on that too and smarten me up and some of that, I know how to bet horses, like horse racing. I'm good at that because I know that type of deal, and I can win in horse racing. As far as betting teams and parlays and all that junk, and going to the casino, I don't know what that is. So here we go. Paul Matty says, yeah, that's what it is. Paul Matty says that parlay. So tell me, Paul Matty, what that means. Lady Bills says Broncos for everybody down the board. There we go. Joe, what do you got? You got the Broncos too?
I don't like either team.
I know.
But
so what do you?
When I don't like
rock,
either
paper,
team,
scissors.
when I don't like either team, I go with the home team.
You go with the home
So
team.
I'm going to go Denver.
All right, he's going Denver. Going Denver. We got everyone the same except for the first game.
Detroit
All right, here we
gets
go.
their second win.
Yeah, right. This we could talk it into existence here. All right, the New York Giants and the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers up and down team, but what better of a team to play than the most injury-riddled team in the league? Yes, the New York Giants are number one at something in this league, and it is injuries. and they're starting Jake Fromm, who hasn't started an NFL game ever. And if not, if there is somehow a way that Mike Glennon passes the concussion protocol, you get long neck, periscope neck,
the
giraffe.
human ostrich.
Yeah, he buried his face into the ground last week. You get him. It just doesn't look good.
Paul just tuned in. He said a parlay is when you bet on more than one thing to happen as one bet.
Okay. So I can bet like both teams win somehow and stuff like that. So I would do that then. I should do that on my Giants all the time then. Then I would be happy, I think. Here we go. We've got Lady Bills. She says Chargers. Sorry, Jimmy. No, it's okay. I'm used to it. Like I said, I legit bet against them every week, and I expect them to lose. But when I watch the game, I'm still rooting for them to win. So it's a weird thing. Like I said, it's something I talk to my therapist about a lot on the couch. Lady Bill says, Jake, here we go. And Lady Bill says, I'm so mad we got rid of him. You are? I mean, why? You don't like Mitch Trubisky? Mitch Trubisky's a decent backup. You know what I mean? At least he had experience as a starter even for a few years. I think that's a solid backup here instead of trying to keep Jake Fromm back there and not know. And him being stuck. And he even started to get more demoted. He was getting down to third string quarterback and then actually got pushed back onto the practice squad. That's how the Giants ended up getting him. He just signed him off the practice squad. So there you go. Restream. We just
congratulations.
Joe,
we got a milestone.
Wow,
everybody.
dude, we just got a milestone. I don't even know what to do with this one. Let's do a string. I don't what to do. Should we do a cheering crowd? Hold on, we got to do a cheering crowd here. Let's do the kids. Here we go. Cheering crowd.
Let's go.
We just hit a milestone, everybody. We've received 100 messages today with Restream. You guys did it.
That's
you
the
guys,
message board right
out there
Thanks
in
to
the
you guys.
board. Lighting it up. We
Thanks
just
to you
hit
guys.
a milestone in this stream.
And speaking of thanks to all the podcasters out there that are listening to our show right now. Really appreciate you all. If you're new to the show, make sure you hit that follow button on anywhere you get your podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely. Where we are. Lady Bill says Turbo Ski is a great backup. Nice. Turbo Ski. I mean, I know you're Trubisky, but bro, what the hell?
I like your little play on words.
No, it's an autocorrect again. Autocorrect. That could be part of the problem. Remember one other stream we did, one other episode years back? Remember when there was so much of the autocorrect kept screwing it up too, so it ended up being a shit ton of doubled messages and everything, and we hit another. It wasn't a milestone, but we hit a lot of messages.
Tom Leiter says we are champions.
We are the champions, but we liked Jake from State Farm. Jake Fromm. She's got them all, man. She's got them all. Man, I don't even think I have anything that can be just to be like, oh, that's terrible. Those are terrible jokes.
All right,
Those
Giants Chargers.
Jokes. Here we go. I like the Chargers too as well. Let's just move on from that one. You like the Chargers?
Chargers it is.
Chargers it is. Bills Mafia in the house. That's right. Here we go. Joe, take it away. How about the San Francisco 49ers?
49ers, no Joe Burrow. Real simple.
All right. Well, that ended quickly. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with you as well, too, on that one. The San Francisco 49ers can try and right the ship. Like I said, it looks like they're going to be without their starting running backs. They potentially could. That's like a game-time decision, I think. It's limited practice, but I still think they have the opportunity to win here. Again, without Joe Burrow, you got issues there. So I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers as well. But guys, let us know out there. I can't see what Mike Tackett had. We'll have to find out later. Lady Bill says 49ers. Buffalo Bills and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We talked about this game earlier. Mm-hmm. It doesn't get any better for the Buffalo Bills here, Joe. Take it away with this one. I'm going to look at their schedule moving forward. I know it's rough. I just want to bring it up after this one.
I mean, now they have to travel to Tampa Bay, play one of the better teams in the NFL, and it just like Jim said, it doesn't get any easier. I'm a little concerned after last week to see where this Buffalo Bills team is trending now. Doesn't look too well. Tampa Bay is going to be tough because now they got a healthy defense once again. So with that being said, I'm going to go with Tampa Bay.
These Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lady Bills is posting some kind of puke face, I think that is. I don't know if that's crying or puke face. I can't tell in here, but either way, I think it's bad. I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on this one. Lady Bill says, I hate this game. Bucks all day for Paul Matty. There we go. We agree on something here with you guys. Tom Brady knows the Bills. TB12. Here we go. Let's look at their schedule quick. They've got the Panthers, which isn't bad, but then they've got the Patriots again they have to play, which they didn't look very good. Oh, but you know what? At the end, they've got the Jets and they've got the Falcons. So they could potentially win some of those games, though, too. I mean, I could see them beating the Jets.
the Bills beating the Jets, and I could see them beating the Falcons.
So they need to get – she's going Bills. She's staying true. She is a super fan of the Bills. She's got to stay true to them. There she goes. But it is tough. They need to even if they suffer a loss here, those next couple of weeks, you've got to handle business with the Panthers. You got to take care of the Jets.
I think they have to win those last three. They got to beat the Patriots.
And they got to beat
Jets
the Patriots.
and finish it out strong.
Absolutely. That's what you do. You got to finish strong. All right, here we go. We've got the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. Again, Justin Fields is back. He's going to be playing in this game, Joe. So that adds a whole nother aspect to this Chicago Bears team. I think they're going to play with fire. I think they're going to try to keep this game close, even though it's going to be in Green Bay. I think Justin Fields adds that extra oomph for them. But altogether, I think Green Bay is just the better team. I mean, let's face it, Chicago, even though it still showed, I think they're still even in the mix somehow of some of this in the NFC of being in the hunt or on the bubble. I think that bubble has bursted pretty easy, but let's just see how Justin Fields looks after that rib injury. So I like the Green Bay Packers here at home.
Yeah, Packers at home all day long against the Chicago Bears, which are already struggling. Matt Nagy needs to get kicked out of there, needs to be fired. They need a different regime in Chicago to give them a jump start going forward. Until that happens, I don't really like Chicago in any given week. But Green Bay, one of the better teams in the NFC. Aaron Rodgers is healthy. He's got his weapons that he likes to throw to in Cobb and Devontae Adams. So Green Bay's defense, maybe they show up in this one. But either way, Green Bay all the way.
There we go. Green Bay all the way. We just got another announcement, Joe, that they want us to tweet it out that we've received our 100 messages with Restream. All right, we'll have to tweet it.
Very
all right,
prestigious.
Tom Leiter says, yes, the Packers. Paul Matty, if Rodgers plays, Pack win. That's the thing, too. I mean, how is his toe doing, you know? But I think he's going to play through. He's going to play. I mean, what else do they have, you know? Replying to Lady Bills, there's no crying in football, so there you go. If he plays, and it's my party, and I'll cry if I want to. There she goes. She's got all kinds of dad jokes out here, Joe.
Lady Bills.
Dad jokes. Here we go. I've got the perfect thing for you. There you go. You get crickets. You get crickets on that one. I'm not laughing at those. Here you go. Here, I got another one for Lady Bills.
Is that Tom Brady again?
It was Tom Brady crying about not getting the calls. All right, so we all agree on that one. Let's finally go to Monday Night Football. This is the game. Finally, we get to the game that we want after all these shit games. Like the Tampa Bay and Buffalo Bills, that could be really good. But we have to wait all the way until Monday to actually watch a good game, I think. And that is the Rams and the Arizona Cardinals, a game that has some, stuff on the line, implications here. It's a divisional game between one another. One will not swap with the other in making first place, but this makes a difference for the Rams. If they can beat the Cardinals on this one, that's another win column against this team in their division, and it bumps them up a seed here. But again, Arizona coming back fresh and healthy here. The Rams have faltered against some of these teams, these other tougher teams that you think that they can win. I like the Arizona Cardinals here at home, Joe, and I'm sorry, but I think the Rams still, even though I think they're a good team, I think they just don't have enough.
Until Sean McVay gets his head out of his ass.
Until then.
This offense is going to continue to struggle. And
Hard
I like this team defensively and offensively, but until they get back on track offensively with McVay calling the right plays, I feel like they're going to continue to struggle. And even if he gets on point this week, this Cardinals team is for real. This defense is very tough, very tenacious, gets after it, creates pressure. Watch out for Chandler Jones in this game. And the Arizona Cardinals offense is going to take flight for sure. But I got the Cardinals all day long. Well, listen, I've been preaching. We've both been preaching. We've both been saying how high we've been on the Cardinals before the season even started. I'm going to continue to ride this bandwagon, Cardinals all day long.
All right, me too. There you go. Lady Bill says Rams family. Cards not even close for Tom Leiter. Rams, Lady Bills. There you go.
She also
Rams
said
families,
Rams for the Ramley.
Oh, man, it just keeps getting worse. It just keeps getting worse. I don't even know what to do with this anymore.
You
I think
stumped
I just
Jimmy.
need to. Yeah, we need to be done with this. There you go. It's done. All right, so again, that's it for our show. Thank you so much for everybody joining us.
Yes.
Again, if you haven't yet, you guys are all members of our group and stuff like that, but tell some more friends about it. Lady Bills, I know a lot of your Bills super fan friends out there have been joining our group too as well. I know our friend Brandon Matthew has been doing his due diligence too and inviting more people to our family out here. Tom Leiter as well. We thank you so much for supporting us. Again, we will be nothing without you guys. Tom knows we started out as just a podcast on not even Spotify, on like SoundCloud with like a nothing back here to a black, type of
Black curtain.
So now we have all these graphics and everything else. Now we are on Spotify and Apple Play and Google Play.
Anywhere you
and
get
all
your
this
podcast.
Stuff. So anywhere you get your podcast, check us out there. If you haven't, go to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, let you know whenever we go live. And seeing you joined our group, go join Tom's group. He's got like 50,000 members, I think, on there. It's huge.
It's crazy.
NFL news and updates. Everybody's pretty cool out there. Nobody's just, talking trash. It's not one of those smack talk things about a bunch of guys that don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's legit stuff. You know what I mean? And we're not claiming to be, complete freaking smart people and we know everything. That's the thing. We like you guys. You guys give an opinion. We give our opinion. We talk about it. Joe and I, we argued today, but after it's all said and done, we're going to walk away and we're still cool. He has his opinion. I have my opinion. We're always going to disagree, but it's fun. Paul Matty, great show. Post your show in my group, Football World, 14,000 members. There you go. Yes, a Football World discussion group. I love that group too as well, along with John Turner. I don't know if, seeing I just said his name, I might get banned from Facebook or not. But I might be on Facebook jail by saying his name. Maybe he was supposed to be an incognito, but John Turner and Paul Matty, your guys' group, we love your group as well too. Support that group too. It's a lot of fun. Jimmy, he thinks you're number one. All right, excellent. Thank you. Yes, Joe does. He does. He loves me. Absolutely. So, all right, that's it. That's it for our show tonight. We thank you so much. And, again, the Christmas show's coming up. And if you're around the Albany area, I know Lady Bill's is. Why don't you go to Hooters this weekend?
Christmas party.
Go to check out the Christmas party.
5 to 7
p.m. It's
p.m.
going to be a lot of fun. So, all right, we'll see you guys next time.
Go Hawks.
Join us next week from 8 till 10 Wednesday nights for more Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.